Hello, everybody. Welcome to the TriStar Gym channel. Today's episode, I'm very excited. We're going to be talking about the upcoming title fight this weekend. Adesanya versus DDP. A fight I'm very, very excited for. But guys, as usual, give me a thumbs up. Let me know I'm coming out loud and clear as usual before I make another gaffe. Guys, don't forget, use promo code LEVELUP50 off. It's on the bottom of your screen. It's in the description. JujiClub.com. Get absolutely anything 50% off. I just released single leg defense and I also released single leg offense. First leg lock video coming out very shortly as well. Make sure to punch in that promo code or else you won't get the discount. Okay, and don't come crying writing emails. I forgot to punch in the code. You must punch in the code. It's on the bottom of your screen. You can't miss it. You don't have brain damage. You can do it. It's level up 50 off. Don't buy without using it. Please, don't forget. Anything. 50% off on JujiClub.com. Okay, guys, I'm going to give you my pick right away. Before you guys get crazy in the polls, I'm going to pick DDP. Dare I say it? Am I going to pick Duplessis? Am I going to pick him? Yes, I just went over his footage. Now, let me tell you something. If this was a kickboxing fight, I would pick Adesanya. Adesanya is the better kickboxer. However, I got to say, I'm very impressed with Duplessis' power. He's very powerful. He has a good powerful punch. He dropped Whitaker with a jab. It still blows my mind. He was able to drop him and hurt him with the jab. He has very consistent takedowns. His takedowns are constantly a threat. His combination of awkward strikes and surprising takedowns, because he shoots his takedowns in a very surprising manner. And he has a variety of takedowns, from headlocks to body locks to Kosoto Gake to double legs. He has a strong variety of takedowns. And he's strong. He has good control on the ground. He has very good control on the ground. I think his awkward striking style mixed with his surprising takedowns are going to give him a slight edge in this fight. Now, the negative going into this fight, the big negative that's bothering me and made me want to pick Adesanya is Adesanya has so much more 5-round experience. When it comes to 5-round experience, Adesanya is head and shoulders above Duplessis. Head and shoulders. Duplessis done one 5-round fight in his entire UFC career. That was against Sean Strickland. He pressed Sean Strickland. It was a very close fight. Many people thought Sean won. It was a very, very close contest. However, Duplessis got his hand raised. He landed a lot of strikes. He landed a lot of takedowns. He was very pressing. He was pressing the pressure fighter. We all know Strickland has a crazy cardio. He presses. This time it was Duplessis doing the pressing. I think he's going to have a hard round one, and then he's going to pressure Adesanya. He's going to score takedowns. He's going to mix that awkward striking where he switches stance, throws bizarre strikes. He's a good kickboxer. He is a good kickboxer. He's very powerful. He might clip Adesanya as well, because Adesanya is going to have to be on high alert for those takedowns. If those takedowns happen every round, Adesanya is going to lose. Adesanya has to stop a takedown every round. He's also got to watch out for Duplessis' power, his explosive power. He's got strong punches and kicks. With that said, Adesanya is the better striker. Adesanya, we all know all about Adesanya and how dangerous his left hook is and how dangerous he is with his combinations, how he switches stance, how he's incredibly quick, he's incredibly elusive. He has a chin of granite. Yes, that is true. He's hard to take down. When fighters took him down, he scrambled. He got up to his feet on a regular basis. However, I don't think he's fought a guy who can get the fight to the ground with the top game he had. Blachowicz was very tentative on the ground until the last round, of course. But I think Duplessis is going to go for it, and he's more seasoned. He's more technically seasoned. Guys, that's my assessment. I think that the awkward striking and surprising takedowns of Duplessis is going to have Adesanya guessing. And I'm giving it 51-49 for Duplessis. Guys, I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form this is going to be a blowout. No. This is going to be a very difficult fight for both men. Israel Adesanya, in my opinion, is going to win the early rounds. But Duplessis is going to find takedowns, put the pressure, close the gap, and breach the reach. Adesanya's got a massive reach advantage. I believe Adesanya is like 6'4". I think Duplessis is like 6 foot. It's a massive height and reach advantage. Still, du Plessis has shown some incredibly surprising takedowns. He took down Whitaker with a headlock. Look, his fight against Robert Whitaker was actually incredibly impressive. That was a fight that impressed me the most. That really swayed my opinion. Originally, I was going to go with Adesanya. Now, after watching du Plessis' footage, I've decided to pick du Plessis. He's durable, he's strong, he's explosive, and his takedowns are very surprising. And he has a variety of takedowns. A great variety of takedowns. Okay, guys, with that said, let me look at the poll real quick here. You guys have it 51-49, the opposite. Adesanya, for Adesanya, guys. One of us, in the post-fight analysis, we're going to come back. It's either I was wrong or you guys were wrong. I can't wait to find out who. Actually, we just swung the polls here, 53-47. You guys are leading towards Adesanya. I love it. Let's hear comments and questions on this fight only, guys. Please, nothing else on any other topic. I will talk about absolutely everything after this fight is done, okay? But for now, we are focusing on this fight. Hasn't Izzy fought guys like DDP before? Question mark. Cannonier, Vittori, Costa, Romero. He leaves himself wide open a lot when he strikes. That's from, let's see who that is from. I don't know why I'm being blocked here. That was from, Justin Carter. Look, he has fought guys, but here's the thing. Cannonier is super powerful, doesn't really shoot. Vittori, good ground game, but he doesn't really progress from the ground game. And he took Adesanya down. I just think du Plessis has more one-shot KO power. He's a much more unorthodox striker. Vittori is a very orthodox striker. Vittori a very successful striker, but not the same as du Plessis. Du Plessis switches. Du Plessis comes from a kickboxing background. Vittori is more of a boxer. I think he's going to handle Adesanya's strikes a little bit better than Vittori did. And his takedowns, in my opinion, are more surprising than Vittori. He's more versatile. He has more upper body takedowns. He has more sophisticated, explosive takedowns. I think his takedowns are another cut above. Romero doesn't do much on the ground. You're right. Romero's an Olympic wrestler, one of the great wrestlers of his generation. However, when he takes guys down, he doesn't do anything. It's like he lets them back up. He's not crafty on the ground. Du Plessis is far more crafty. Far more crafty. But you're right, though. I mean, Costa doesn't really shoot. And the thing is with Costa, he left his legs wide open. He got his legs trashed. After round one, his legs were completely trashed. I don't think he's going to be able to do that to du Plessis as easily. Now, Adesanya has incredible leg kicks. He's going to get the leg kicks going. I have no doubt. But he's not going to chop the legs as easily as he did to Costa. Costa was like, it was a buffet. It was just a buffet. Here, as many leg kicks as you like. Just keep kicking my legs. I'm not going to change the game plan. I'm just going to walk forward and let you kick my legs. That was one of the worst game plans I've ever seen in an MMA world title fight. Absolutely horrible. Costa just walked in and thought, I'm just going to eat these kicks. They're not a big deal. Guess what? They are a massive deal. After one round, your legs were completely chopped. You had no more power. You couldn't close the distance. You could barely maneuver. And Adesanya put on the finishing touches with the hands. But the leg kicks cemented Costa's legs into the ground. Like he was no longer mobile. He was a sitting duck. Adesanya stepped in, put on the finishing touches with his hands, and really the hands stole the show. But it was really the leg kicks that laid all the groundwork. I think it's really the bizarre striking and surprising takedowns that are going to be stealing rounds. That's how I see it. By the way, okay, guys, we're talking about only this fight. After that, guys, we could talk about absolutely anything. Guys, you can ask me absolutely anything. Marijuana guy, you guys can ask me anything, absolutely. But right now, we are talking about this fight. We're not jumping around just yet. What else we got here? Okay. Coach DDP has wrestling. He smashes Izzy. That's from Utabek. Look, I like the wrestling from DDP. He's crafty. He's got a variety of takedowns, and he's super explosive when he shoots. He actually reminds me of GSP. The way he shoots through the legs is quite impressive. But we've seen people try to take Adesanya down. Guys, Adesanya is not easy to take down. And when you do take him down, he's hell to hold down. It's not an easy tall. It's not like in the bag. This thing ain't in the bag. Okay, believe me, it's far from being in the bag. However, I just think it's possible and it can happen. I don't want to say that he's going to go take down Adesanya at will and it's going to be a cakewalk and he's going to kind of like pin him and just like play with him. No. This is going to be a battle, guys. This is going to be a tough one for either man. How good of a wrestling caliber is Duplessis? ? That's from Harrington Rapita. Look, I'll tell you something. I don't even know if he has I know he comes from a kickboxing background because once upon a time I was training a fighter to fight Duplessis in RoboCop, and he actually they fought at welterweight, and RoboCop, the guy I was training, beat Duplessis, he knocked him out. Okay, they fought once. Duplessis had beat Robo, and then Robo came to train at TriStar. We trained him for that fight, and he went back and he beat Duplessis. He knocked him out. Now, both of them are heavy-handed. RoboCop and Duplessis, the two guys that I'm talking about. Duplessis is very heavy-handed, and he comes from a kickboxing background. Now, did he wrestle since he's 5 years old? I don't think he has, okay? But watching his takedowns, I could tell you he's a freak athlete. He has an explosiveness. He has a drive. He has an ability to... I'm sure he's training wrestling like everybody else, but he's a very talented wrestler. He's very, very explosive and strong. In my opinion, he was manhandling guys like Whitaker and Strickland in the wrestling, like just taking them down just like with ease. He's freakishly strong. I can tell you, I've never wrestled the man, but I can tell you he is freakishly strong. Like, for him to score takedowns the way he did, for him to throw Whitaker the way he did, that ain't easy. There's not many guys who can do that. Even Olympic wrestlers can't do that. You know, Romero had trouble controlling Whitaker. Imagine Duplessis went in there and did it. That was, for me, very eye-opening because, listen, I got to be honest. When Whitaker was fighting Duplessis, I had picked Whitaker. Like, I thought Whitaker was going to mop the floor with him. And I was very surprised that Duplessis could trade with him and also could take him down. Coach, it's my 23rd birthday. Love you. That's from Jake. Hey, Jake, hey, happy birthday, my man. 23. Oh, what a sweet age that is. Enjoy your 23rd birthday, my friend. Make the best out of it because, believe me, by the time you blink your eyes, you're going to be my age, 44. Okay, so it goes quick. Enjoy yourself. What else we got? I seen that Izzy put on a ton of muscle. Have you seen him recently, Coach? That's from Detroit Viper. No, I haven't seen him recently. Let me look him up. Hold on. Let's see here. Actually, no, I watched his UFC countdown thing. Adesanya training. Let's see what comes up. I didn't notice him being much bigger. Okay, let's see here. This is 2 days ago. Let me see here. Let me turn on the volume. Okay, let me see. I'm looking at him train. No, he's always muscular. He's a very muscular individual. I wouldn't say he's put on a ton of muscle. He's looking really good. I mean, he's in shape, that's for sure. But I wouldn't say he's massive. I mean, he's always been, super muscular. Yeah, I could say he put on some muscle, that's for sure, but nothing unusual, I would say. He's doing a lot of band training, it seems. A lot of plyometric. Look, he looks in tip-top shape, I gotta say. He looks in tip-top shape. Salam, Coach. Why Adesanya back up a lot towards the cage when he fights? ? Is this a strategy or is just being pressed? That's from Adele. Well, he has the reach, right? He wants to keep the fight at the end of his reach, right? He's very smart. He wants to keep the fight at the end of his reach. That's where he has the most leverage, right? So if you're the shorter fighter, your arm is not as long. You need to get inside. So, of course, when we start the fight, we start from a distance. I want to keep you at a distance. I want to hit you from where I can touch you and you can't touch me, right? That would make a lot of sense for a fighter with the reach of Adesanya. I see Izzy put on... Okay, Salam, Coach. Adesanya backs up a lot. Okay, that was it. Do you think if Izzy improves his clinch game, he could win the fight? That's from Combat World. I don't think Izzy's going to try to take him down from the clinch too much, If you mean like prevent takedowns from the clinch, he has to. He has. If he gets clinched and taken down on a regular basis, he's going to lose, okay? Because I'll tell you why. If I body lock you and take you down, like I'm holding onto your body, it's hard to scramble from there. It's really tough because we land kind of like in side control or in half guard, and I gotta bite around your body. It's not easy to wiggle out. Like it's gonna take you 2-3 minutes maybe to break my grip. Whereas if I shoot a double leg, my head is underneath yours, you're sprawling on top of me, you can scramble and kind of like get up to your feet before I do, and you can hit me as I get up. That's difficult for a guy who's shooting. You know, if you don't get a clean double, it could be very difficult. Now, if I'm in a body lock and I can consistently take you down from a body lock, I'm not risking my putting myself on the bottom. Because, you know, when you shoot, here's the sad thing about shooting, okay? When you shoot, if the guy sprawls you out, you can be on the bottom. And when you're on the bottom, you can get choked, you can get hit. As you're coming back up to your feet, the guy can knee you, punch you, uppercut you, kick you to the head. It's a dangerous little moment there. When you miss a shot, try to get back up to your feet. You're a bit of a sitting duck for a second. With body locking, I love taking guys down from body lock. Why? It's a free ride. You land chest to chest. Your hands are locked. It's like, wow. Not only did I take the guy down, I'm cementing a position immediately. If he gets taken down consistently from the clinch, it's going to be a disaster for him, which I don't think is necessarily going to happen. However, du Plessis does have a very strong clinch. O says, I believe DDP's awkward striking is perfect for Izzy's counter-striking style. So you think that DDP is going to walk into a lot of counter shots? It's very possible, guys. It's hard to tell because DDP does have a very herky-jerky style, weird style of striking, man. He's like looping shots and he's throwing like wild kicks. And it's interesting. It's really interesting. But I think if it was a kickboxing match, I would pick Izzy. But the fact that he's going to be throwing takedowns, it's going to be tough. And here's the thing. If Izzy kicks, du Plessis can catch those kicks and get into a takedown. Like he can catch those kicks. You know, it's a bit of a liability for the kicker. Okay, Muhammad Ali, I gotta put you in a timeout because you're spamming, man. Can't spam. I'm gonna put you in a timeout, and I'm gonna answer your question. Okay, I'm gonna put you in a 5-minute timeout. Okay, and I can't answer that question because it's not about the fight. Did you hear about DDP coach tasers him? That's from Hassan Ali. Hassan, yeah, I heard about that. Actually, it reminds me of my old trainer. My trainer used to walk around with a bamboo stick, and when we made a mistake, he would hit us. And I thought he was a great trainer. But the thing is, you can't do that nowadays because people will like freak out. You know, people will be like, hey, that's abusive. But I'll tell you something. I've trained in Thailand. I've trained in the slums. Like I've trained in like where the Thais train, you know, like where there's no tourists. And believe me, if you make mistakes, man, they're gonna be rough. They're not gonna be happy with you. In Thailand, there's something called round 6. So when you fight, you have 5 rounds. If you didn't fight well, if you didn't do what your trainer told you to do, and you're a young fighter, like you're an up-and-comer, you're not obedient, there's something they call round 6. When you go back to the gym, they're gonna beat you up. Like they're not gonna accept that you didn't listen on fight night. Okay, so I come from kind of background like that. So for me, it doesn't bother me. Like, I don't freak out about that at all. I think they probably did it as a joke. I didn't see the video or anything, but I heard people talking about it. I don't recommend anybody do that. You know, I really don't recommend anybody do that. But I was trained like that. And I think, and I've trained in third world countries. It's not uncommon. That's all I'm trying to say. It's not uncommon. Coach, you missed that Izzy is coming back from a loss. I know it ain't KO loss, but I might be very similar to Volk's road. That's from Insomnia. Well, just because Volk lost a fight and came back and got knocked out doesn't mean Adesanya is going to have the same fate. How many times have we seen guys lose a fight, come back and win big? You know, we've seen that time and time again. Don't forget, he got knocked out by Pereira, came back to knock out Pereira. You know, arguably the greatest pound-for-pound kickboxer in MMA today. Arguably, probably, maybe even the greatest stand-up MMA fighter in history. Guys, I'm only taking questions on this fight. Please do not super chat me about other questions. Coach, do you see a method of victory for Izzy? That's from Combat World. Yes, of course. Look, I think Izzy has an incredible left hook. He could put anybody to sleep with that left hook. He has a variety of strikes. He switches stances. He can kick the legs out from under du Plessis, but that's going to be very tricky because if he goes that route, he's risking getting taken down off a kick, which is not the end of the world. He can scramble up, sure, but he could also get pinned. DDP is a very strong and muscular guy. When I'm seeing him grapple, I was quite impressed how he can control guys like Whitaker. Whitaker is very difficult to control on the ground. Even Romero had very difficulty working his legs, putting him down, pinning him down. And Romero's a freak athlete. I was very impressed. People have to remember how well he did against Whitaker, which is, in my opinion, quite shocking. I think it will turn out how Pereira versus Prochaska did. Unorthodox fighter versus technical fighter at world-class levels will always favor the technique unless DDP comes in there hungry and Izzy doesn't. That's from Zukeya. Zukeya, what does it mean hungry? Do you mean like, does he skip breakfast? If he skips breakfast, he'll be hungry? Or do you mean that they really want to win? Believe me, both these guys really want to win. Trust me, there's a lot of money on the line. There's a lot of prestige on the line. There's a lot of hype on the line. Both these guys are hungry. Now, I'll tell you something. Prochaska didn't have the takedown threat. He didn't. And his striking was very, very different. Very, very different than Duplessis. I think Duplessis brings a whole other set of tools. Okay, he has this weird style where he blitzes you. He kind of blitzes you with this weird style. Look, he's also very decorated in kickboxing, but I'm not telling you he's Izzy's level kickboxing. I said it maybe 4 times already. If this was a kickboxing fight, I would pick Izzy. I'm just telling you that the awkward takedown, the surprising takedowns are going to be on Izzy's mind. Izzy's going to have to be careful. He's going to have to be very careful not to get trapped in a takedown, and if he does, it could be dire. And I think that threat is going to open up the door. It's going to open up the door to Duplessis throwing strike and connecting strikes. And don't forget, Duplessis does also have power. Can you see Izzy knocking DDP out cold? That's from William Travis. Of course. Yes, I definitely can see that. Duplessis has a good guard, but he has his chin up in the air every so often, and he does lift his chin. When he comes in a barrage of punches, he does lift his chin. He does. That's the one thing, like, when I see him sometimes lifting his chin, I'm like, eesh, man, one shot from Izzy, I could really get the ball rolling. Very tough fight, guys. I'm telling you, I hate giving 50-50 in fights. I hate it. I gave 1% more to Duplessis, but I'm telling you, it's 51-49 in my opinion. It ain't no blowout. You guys have it 56-44. So, I mean, you guys are pretty divided as well. Looking for ambidextrous fighters who switch and use both stances often and well. I think Dreykus is one of those guys. Who else switches a lot? That's good. Question mark. That's from M. Wrong. Well, Adesanya switches. He does. As he's doing combinations, he switches around a lot. As people shoot on him, he switches and he throws strikes. He's also a switcher. So both of them are switchers. How would Izzy deal with Duplessis' pressure? Do you think the weight Izzy gained will affect his speed / explosiveness? That's from Barajan. I don't know. He's made weight a lot of times. He doesn't seem like a guy who has trouble making weight. You know, I don't know. I've never been through a wake up with the guy or anything like that, but he seems like he's in supreme shape, supreme conditioning. It seems like every time he is in a 5-round fight, he's working hard in round 5. He's in super conditioning all the time. He's a phenomenal athlete. I don't think conditioning's ever been an issue for Adesanya, so I'm not worried for his conditioning. If you put on a little extra muscle for me, I wouldn't worry about it. Personally, his conditioning has been stellar for every fight. Coach, Izzy has fought 12 times in the last 4 years. Is there such thing as being too active as a champion? That's from Ratu. Yes, your body accumulates fatigue. It accumulates stress. It accumulates contusions and sprained joints. And look, if you hurt my rib 3 times and a year later some guy kicks me in the rib and I go down, well, it had to do with the 3 other times I got hurt. You know, I have what they call sometimes a bad rib, you know, a rib that just keeps getting injured all the time. Well, you know what? Ribs take a long time to heal. So if you keep injuring them, guess what? One day a guy hits you with a little shot in the ribs and you go down. Everybody thinks, oh, look, finally the guy who knocked him out. Well, you know what? Those other strikes I had a hand in it, you know, years ago. So sometimes fighters injure their jaw, they injure their nose, they injure their hands, and then all of a sudden they're not the same after a few, you know, wars. So that can definitely play a factor. Absolutely, no doubt about it. Pereira got that equalizer, though. That's some sickish Joey. That's right. Pereira, no matter where the fight is, no matter what the situation is, he can always land that left. That left can end the night for anybody. Hey, coach, how did DDP gain so much muscle / strength while keeping up crazy cardio? Is it needles, needles, needles? That's right, Matan. Look, I don't want to accuse the guy. I don't know the guy's history. I don't know, he used to fight at welterweight. Now he's a middleweight. Guys do gain weight as they get older. They get bigger, but he's a muscular dude. He's a really muscular dude. Let me look up his training, actually. I haven't seen his... I was going over his fights. I haven't seen his recent footage. Let me see here. Okay, hold on a second. I went over his fights, and he's a strong individual. He muscles people in the octagon. He muscles them. He moves them around. Let me see here. This one is 23 hours ago. Let's see here. No Duplessis training. Hold on. Let me find Duplessis training here. Find a recent video of Duplessis training. Here we go. Duplessis throwing some bombs. I don't think he looks much bigger than usual. I don't know. You guys, maybe this is not the best video, but he looks, he's always this muscular. Every fight, the guy's incredibly muscular. It's insane. It's insane how muscular he is. Same build as Paulo. That's from Shepard. Guys, look, I'm not going to make any claims, okay? I really don't know. He's an incredibly muscular guy. How he got so muscular, I don't know. Okay, guys, what else we got here? Do you think Izzy's career is finished if he loses this fight? Question mark. That's from Jake. That's one of the weirdest questions I always get. If this guy loses this fight, is his career over? No, he's one of the greatest middleweights of all time. He's a future Hall of Famer. The guy's career is far from over. It's only over if he wants it to be. If he's sick of fighting, he doesn't have to fight no more. I'm sure he's made enough money and he's built a brand big enough to carry him the rest of his life. However, if the man enjoys fighting and he wants to fight again, there's no doubt the UFC will give him another fight. Now, it's never over, guys. It's never over. Unless he has a debilitating injury and he just doesn't want to do it anymore, then it's over. But having a loss to, if he were to lose to the DDP, even if he lost in round 1 by submission in the first 30 seconds, it doesn't mean his career is over. That's far from over. The poll is almost 60-40. You're right, guys. The poll has swayed. I've done a bad job convincing you guys that TDP is going to win. I love it. That's awesome. How come kickboxing is dominating wrestling and UFC? I wouldn't say kickboxing is dominating UFC. I don't know what you mean by that. You mean because Duplessis has a background in kickboxing? Well, he used a lot of wrestling. Let me tell you, to win the world title, his wrestling came into play. He's a extremely effective and surprising wrestler, and he has a variety of takedowns. He's a very, very effective wrestler. Do you think fighting sports make a person more calm in life? That's from Samina. Yes. Okay, guys, we've been at it for 30 minutes. I think we've exhausted this fight. It didn't go as deep as we usually do. Not a big deal. Guys, let's open it up to absolutely anything. Let's talk about now absolutely everything. The gloves come off, and now it's no holds barred. Does combat sport keep you calm? I think so. I think if you do a combat sport and you go out in the world and the last thing you want to do is scrap. Okay, the last thing you want to do, what? You got out of your system. You want to relax. You want to eat some good food. You want to enjoy yourself. You want to lay back. You took out all that aggression. That's why I think fighting sports or combat sports is good for the youth. Very good. Because if you don't get it out of their system, they're going to go out in the world and do something stupid. Coach, you made a video years ago about the air bike for cardio for MMA. Can we get an updated video, ? Or tell me how to use it? That's from Goosh. Use it. I might do a video one day on it. Listen, I really like the air bike. There's so many benefits, okay? Because when you test human beings on what's the most calories per second spent, sprinting is up there, like running, sprinting, and air bike is up there. Like it's among the top 1% exercises you can do. Also, so is kickboxing, by the way. That's why I always say the bag, the heavy bag is the best cardio machine. It is the best cardio machine. Why? Because the thing is, like, doing bag work teaches you how to throw a punch. If you're running and doing air bike, it's good. It gets you in shape, but you're not really learning a skill, So if I can do my cardio and learn a skill, imagine two guys. Person A, he's doing bag every day. He's doing his bag work every day in calisthenics. Person B, he's doing road work. He's doing a whole bunch of sprints, etc. Both are going to be lean. Both are going to be super healthy. Both are going to be in tip-top shape. However, person A, he can also throw a punch. He can kick. He can knee. He can defend himself. Street altercation happens. Boom, boom, boom. This guy's throwing punches. He's defending himself. That's why I think it's better, because also it's funner because I'm practicing a skill. So I'm keeping my mind occupied. Whereas when I'm on the air bike or running, then I'm really relying on keeping my mind occupied by listening to a podcast or watching a movie or something. But let's say some people, you put on a movie and you're on your air bike, maybe some people like to do that. You can find ways to entertain yourself. However, you can also do that with the bag. So if I put on a podcast, I go hit the bag for an hour. Like for me, hitting the bag for an hour is nothing. It's like a really easy bag workout. I like to do sometimes 2 hours. I really like hitting the bag. Now, you're developing a lot of skill. Whereas on the air bike is amazing. However, you're just moving one leg in front of the other. It's not really that complicated. With that said, air bike is fantastic because you can do crazy sprinting. You can increase testosterone. You can develop a very muscular body. You can increase your cardiovascular capacity with I would say zero impact. Almost zero impact. Okay, so there's no bad way to do an air bike workout. I think they're all good. Now, one air bike workout I'll give you that's really easy is you do 40 seconds medium capacity and then 20 seconds really, really hard. Okay, do that for 15 rounds. So that'll take you 15 minutes. So 40 seconds mellow, 20 seconds all out. You do that 15 times. Trust me, you're going to have an incredible workout. You're going to lose 4 or 5 pounds on that workout. Do you think fighting sports makes a person... Okay, we did that one. What do you think of the Algerian boxer controversy at the Olympics? That's from Abdel Mbari. I don't know if she's or he... if she was... from what I understand, she's born female. That's what I heard. I mean, I didn't do a deep dive on her story or anything like that, but I heard she was born female. She has like some kind of like issue with her system. Now, she's from Algeria, and I don't think Algeria has a trans program. Okay, I really don't think they do. So I don't think she is trans. I don't think so. From what I understand, unless she left Algeria, did this and came back, even then that could be problematic. So I don't think they would. I think she's legitimately a woman. Okay, but don't take my word on that. I didn't do a deep dive, but I saw headlines and I saw like I remember somebody talked about it on a podcast, or maybe the guys in the gym. I can't remember, but people were telling me no, she's literally born a woman, but she had some kind of issue. I can't even remember what it was. However, I do think she is legitimately, by the book, woman. Forget all the woke stuff. I have nothing to do with that. I think she's legitimately considered a woman. What else we got here? Coach, how do you think Kai versus Usyk and Hooker versus Gamrot will go? Kai versus Usyk, I haven't gone over their footage too much, but Hooker versus Gamrot, guys, Gamrot is a tough fight, man. Hooker's a tough guy, but I think Gamrot's got this one, man. Gamrot's going to be a tough guy to beat. There are not many guys, I think, that can beat Gamrot in the lightweight division. It's going to be a very tall order for anybody. Hooker's a very tough guy. I don't know if he could beat Gamrot. Gamrot's going to be too much. Some were saying she has high testosterone. That's from Donnie Does. Donnie Does. It's possible. Listen, she does look very masculine. She has masculine features. However, that doesn't necessarily make her male. Now, I saw a clip of her like punching a girl. Like she was in a boxing match and it was an official boxing match in Olympics and she punched a girl and the girl's like waved it off and she's like, I'm done. She's born with a gift, man. She's born with that masculine feature, even though she's a woman, So I don't know. I really don't know enough to say, but if she's born a legitimate woman, then you got to just say, look, she's a freak, She's like one of those genetic freaks. Has a Y chromosome. That's from Candy Cat. Well, that's possible. I don't know. I mean, we'd have to get an expert who examined her. They'd have to... it's just such a tough subject. I can't make a comment without knowing more. What other sports than MMA would you? That's from Abdullah. Look, I love football. When I was a kid, I love American football. Not like soccer, like what Europeans call football. I'm talking about American football, like New York Giants, San Francisco 49ers. I love that sport. I used to watch it every Sunday. Monday Night Football. I would cringe. My mom would want me to go to bed because I have school the next day. But I really want to watch Monday Night Football. It was I just want to watch a little more. I loved football. If I was 6 foot plus and big enough to play football, I would have probably pursued playing football. Martial arts was a thing I fell in love with because I was being bullied all the time. But as a sport, just out of pure enjoyment, I always loved football. Now, when I was younger, I played pee-wee football, bantam football. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. It was fun. I loved the game. I loved the whole how complicated it is for it. It's just such a crazy game. It's just such an incredibly wild and crazy game. And I unfortunately don't get enough time to watch anymore. I rarely ever watch football ever, but I do love the game, and I love playing Madden football. That's something I used to play quite a bit. I love playing Madden on PlayStation. There's not many games I play, but I love Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and Madden. I love those games. I grew up playing those games. Coach, what do you suggest to someone who's coming off the couch and wants to get back into it? That's from Muhammad Nakhil. That's a good one. Start by getting a little bit of good shape. Get in good shape. Don't just jump into combat sports. So I would tell you, do strong and stable running. Go to jujiclub.com. Get strong and stable knees. Do some of those exercises. Get back into shape. Basic shape. Don't wait too long. And drill. Okay, let's say you're going to do jiu-jitsu or boxing. Just drill. Don't spar. Don't go live yet. If you haven't, been in shape, do the part where they do the arm bars, the triangle chokes, the sweeps. Just do the technique. And then, okay, guys, thank you very much. I'm going to just go hit the weights. If your gym doesn't have weights, do your weight routine at home. Do a kettlebell routine. Body weight exercise is also good. Just get in shape and do technique. Once you feel you have the confidence to roll, start rolling. But I would suggest that just jumping in, rolling after you haven't been active, you can get you can get hurt. You can get a little bit roughed up. Very much love this channel. That's from WFX. Well, thank you, sir. You're a gentleman and a scholar. I really appreciate that. DDP all the way. Took a year to build up to middleweight. Idolized GSP and being natural. Just got Man's Guide. Thank you for the content, coach. That's from Jamilia. Jamilia, you are a gentleman and a scholar. Thank you very much. Well, is that what he said? He said he took a year to beef up to middleweight. Wow. He idolized GSP going up. I just said it earlier in the podcast. His double leg is very reminiscent of a GSP. Very reminiscent. The way he dives and he shoots his legs up in the air. George used to shoot a double leg like a Superman dive, Very impressive that he was able to copy George's style. Not an easy thing to do. You need a lot of athleticism for this. Coach, I'm 44 and just joined a BGG gym. Would want to thank you for the inspiration. Appreciate you. That's from Khalil. Thank you, brother. You're a gentleman and a scholar. That's really nice. I'm very happy to hear that, guys. Jiu-Jitsu is such a great way to keep up cardio, strength, flexibility. It does it all, and it occupies the mind. You train for an hour is like passes like this. An hour of jiu-jitsu passes like this. Try to spend an hour on a treadmill on a regular basis. That's real torture, man. That's real torture. For me, anyway. How do you think Islam can do at middleweight if he moves up? I think you mean welterweight. If Islam Makhachev moves up from lightweight to welterweight. Look, I like him at lightweight because he has a size advantage. At at welterweight, he won't have that size advantage. He'll be on the smaller end. Could be a tough business at that weight class. I think he can win. I think he can get to the top 5. However, will he be champion at that weight? Tall order. Very tall order. But it is possible. It is possible. We'd have to wait and see. However, I definitely think he can place in the top 5. In your opinion, do you think being a professional fighter is haram? Question mark, with all the damage that comes with it to the body. That's from Abdel Ambari. Yes, I think technically it's haram, because you're hitting each other, you're kicking each other, you're knocking each other out. So definitely I would say it's haram. Javier Mendez is saying middleweight. That's from Zukair. Guys, okay. If they're saying middleweight, I think that's way too heavy. Maybe the money's right, but that's way too heavy. Guys, we're talking about middleweight, they're 6 foot plus. Adesanya 6'4", Duplessis 6 foot, like Sean Strickland I think is like 6'1", 6'2", I would say. Like, these guys are tall. These are big men. I think it's way too big. Guys, middleweight, way too big. Makhachev would not even rank in middleweight. That's from Shepard. Look, guys, middleweight is way too big. We're talking about like way too big. Just way too big. These guys are huge. Not a good idea. DC is 5'11". Yeah, but DC is huge. Also, he's thick. Okay, like, I get it. Okay, he's an outlier. He's 5'11". Okay, but he's also massively huge and strong, and he has other attributes. Okay, but definitely he's an outlier in the heavyweight division, light heavyweight division. In what ways was GSP a freak athlete? That's from William Travis. Well, I'll tell you something. He had an incredible reach and he had incredible explosiveness. Like, his vertical jump was quite stunning. He had incredible vertical, very explosive. So when he would shoot a double leg, it was actually quite difficult to see coming. So I know I sparred with him for many years. His double leg was incredibly difficult to stop. If you didn't get to an underhook, you weren't stopping his double leg. So, like, if he shot in your legs and you tried to sprawl, it didn't matter. Sprawls rarely worked on him. Rarely. You had to get into an underhook. If you didn't get into an underhook, I've seen some guys stop him with uchimata, like really good judo guys who would like turn with the double leg and kind of uchimata him off their body. So that would be another possibility. Even then, that was tough to do. It had to be the underhook. Without the underhook, stopping GSP's double leg was like just really difficult, incredibly difficult. Is power clean or snatch a better exercise for MMA? That's from Jack Murphy. Both are good, okay? But if I had to pick one, I would pick the snatch. It's the most powerful move in sports. The most wattage you can induce in a human body is the snatch, believe it or not. So it's the most powerful movement in sports. But the clean and jerk also has its attributes. It also has great attributes. So I really recommend doing both. There's no need to do one over the other. They both have a plus and a minus. They both have something good and bad, like pros and cons. Do them both. There's no need to choose one over the other. Coach, I lost 10 pounds in 2 weeks doing keto, but I've lost muscle. How do I gain it back? Just add carbs plus protein, less fat? Question mark. That's from True Red Crime. Guys, I'm not a big keto guy, okay? Now look, you lost, you said 10 pounds in 2 weeks. You really lost a lot of water, okay? I'm not saying keto is bad. I know a lot of you guys out there do keto. If you're doing combat sports, I don't recommend keto. I don't think so. I don't think it's a good idea because you need the glycogen. You're dumping a lot of water. Look, I feel like I lost a lot of weight, but I'm looking faded. It's just your muscles you emptied the water out of your muscles. Don't forget glycogen and carbs, glycogen is stored 1 part glycogen, 3 parts water. So when you cut the carbs, you lose a lot of water. You look more lean, but your muscles are less full. It's like if you take creatine, right? Creatine will balloon up your muscles. It stores more water into your muscles. So I don't recommend you cut your calories. I don't want to go on a whole discourse on diet, but try high carb, low fat, high protein, high carb, low fat, low cal meals. Try to Google that. Like highly satiating foods, high protein, low cal, but with carbs. Like don't cut out the carbs if you're playing sports. You know, if you're an athlete, don't cut out the carbs. Now, if you're not an athlete, if you're not doing a glycogenic combat sport, you don't need so much carbs. So I would tell you, look, eat carbs for breakfast, then skip them for lunch, skip them for dinner. If you're not an athlete, and if that doesn't feel right, your stomach's not feeling right, have carbs for breakfast, carbs for lunch, and skip them for dinner. So you'd have 2 meals of carbs, and then see how much carbs you want in your life. You know, but you can slowly restrict your carbs and increase more protein, and if you want to go that route. But I wouldn't go that route if you're a combat athlete. Do not go that route if you're a combat athlete. Hey, Coach, what do you think makes a good chin? That's from Musa. I think neck strength. I think having a good, strong neck. Okay. Make sure to do the strong and stable neck routine. I highly recommend like headstands. I like to do headstands. I get upside down. I put my whole body on my head. I stand on my head. I do a few other exercises, but I love the headstand. 1, it's super convenient to do. And 2, it builds a very, very, very strong neck. And when I'm passing guard, oftentimes I find myself standing on my head. Why? Because just like, it's such a great position for me to be in, to clear hooks, clear legs. And because I spend so much time standing on my head that I feel I can do it comfortably. So it's not only a great way to strengthen your neck, it's also a great passing tool. It's also good for when you're fighting. When I shoot double legs, sometimes I spear with my neck. I spear with my head. You know, I use my head to push into the guy's body. You have to have a strong neck. And I think if you get hit in the head, the stronger your neck is, the less your neck's going to wobble. The less your head's going to wobble. The less your head's going to wobble, the less your head's going to whip back and forth, the less you're going to shake your brain. Do you think it's okay to kick with your shin bone? Question mark. That's from the All for One. Absolutely. Kicking with the shin bone is super important, but don't kick with the lower part of your shin bone. Don't kick with the part of your shin bone that's really small near your ankle. It's this part of the bone, okay? You want to kick with this, see? That part of your shin is very thick. Watch any time a guy's leg breaks, he never kicks with the lower part. It's always the upper part. Now, truth be told, a lot of top kickers kick with the bottom half. Now, if you kick with the bottom half, you got to be sure you're not kicking full power. So a lot of times I'll kick the calf, or I'll kick the back of the knee, or I'll kick the thigh with the lower part of my foot. When I kick with the lower part of my foot, I never go full blast. I always assume that I'm going to hit bone. That way I always kind of like tap the leg. Now, as I'm fighting, as I'm sparring, I'll feel like I can kick a little more. There's always a risk, right? I'll kick a little deeper. I'm hitting the muscle. Okay, he's not able to stop this kick. He's not seeing it. He's not in position to stop it. I'll put in a little more pressure. But I don't believe in kicking full power. Like me, when I kick the body, I'm always scared to hit the elbow. When I kick the body, and I like to kick the body, I don't kick full power. I kick like, I throw my kick and pull it back. I throw my kick and pull it back. So I don't drive through like a Tide Pad, like, oh, I'm just like trying to saw the bag in half. No, I don't do that. I retract the leg. I throw the kick and retract. So I barely touch the guy, and I'm finding my range. Am I going to follow through on the next one? If his arms are coming down, I won't. I'll go to the head. If his arms are staying up and I'm touching ribs, the next one I might go a little more. You start learning to be very careful with how much power you put in your kicks. Okay, now there's a time and place where you see an opening and you buzzsaw through the body. Yes, of course. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. Of course, absolutely. You go for a kill. It's just that sometimes you're not sure if the elbow's going to be there, if you're going to snag a bone. You kick. You test the waters. You send a decoy kick. You know, you get some reconnaissance. You throw a kick and you're like, oh, okay, well, that went in nicely. Next one, I'm going to lean in nice, stronger. Now, this comes with experience, guys, but I would tell you, A lot of my kicks, they're just like little touches. And then once in a while, I feel there's an opening. I see an opening. I buzzsaw through the body. Why do I think I do well in training versus short, stocky, or tall and lanky fighters, but struggle against guys with my dimensions? I'm 6 foot, 230, 78-inch reach. That's from MF James. That's really strange, because I mean, I spar every body type, so for me, it doesn't matter. If the guy's short, if the guy's tall, if the guy's my height, for me, it doesn't matter. And I think you might have to kind of just spar with guys that are your height as much as possible until you overcome that, because it's a very strange thing. Like for me, I spar always with southpaws or righties. Like for me, if the guy's a southpaw or a righty, it doesn't matter to me. Like I feel as comfortable with all their styles. If the guy's a runner, if the guy's moving forward, for me, it doesn't matter. It's just like a question of doing it on a regular basis to develop that comfort. Coach, your beard of wisdom is growing. Is that gray? Does that mean I'm growing gray? Yes, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Okay, I think I missed a super chat. If Jalil Turner has all the tools, what is he missing? He has a great potential to be world champion. He's lost a couple of close fights. He's had some setbacks, but he's a very let's look at his career, okay? He's a very powerful human being. Very tall, lanky, super powerful. Okay, he lost to Meccano. Look, that was an incredible fight. Okay, yes, he lost to Meccano, but look, he's lost three out of his last 4 matches in UFC. Okay, not a great time for him, but he can definitely bounce back and come back for a major winning streak. Now with Meccano, he was looking good. Then he got wrapped up with some grappling, got taken down. With Bobby Green, he landed an incredible KO in round 1. Dan Hooker was a war. The Dan Hooker battle, I think it came out to Hooker having some crazy experience. I had Turner in the lead, and then Hooker kind of stole it at the end. It was a crazy fight. You guys got to see that fight. It was one of the best fights in recent memory. Incredible fight. Okay, Mateusz Gamrot, also another close fight. Like how Gamrot won that fight, it was crazy experience that came into play. Not an easy fight for Gamrot, but Gamrot definitely won that fight. Jalil Turner lost to the best, like top names. With Renato Meccano, guys, I gotta tell you, I gotta go back and rewatch that fight. Meccano won in round 2 by ground and pound, but it could have also gone the other way. Jalil Turner is a very dangerous man. I think with the right trainers, the right adjustments, he can go incredibly far. He can definitely be a world champion. He's had a bad streak, but he's a very talented. I think it's just like he's getting wrapped up a little bit. He's a seasoned wrestler. He's just getting wrapped up in the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu, obviously. When he gets on the ground, Meccano just took over. He has to close that gap. He can't allow guys to take him down and just be too much better than him on the ground. Obviously, he wants to strike. Obviously, there's things to work on in his striking as well, of course. But he's a very, very talented athlete. Coach, is it okay to be stiff? ? I'm relatively strong for my size. I can deadlift 405 at 135 pounds, but I'm constantly told I'm a little too stiff while grappling and I don't move easily. What are your thoughts? Marcelo, look, I'll tell you something. It's not bad to be stiff. I've worked with Stuart McGill, and he told me Stuart McGill is one of the top back experts in the world. He's tested some of the best athletes in the world, from GSP to Lennox Lewis. Like he traveled the world testing the best athletes, trying to figure out what makes them so strong. And he really believes that the strongest athletes have stiff hamstrings, stiff connective tissue. You don't want to be overly flexible. He says, like, take your credit card. You want to fatigue if you bend your credit card over and over again, it starts to fatigue the credit card plastic. He goes, you can kind of do that with your tendons, etc. You don't want to stretch them too much. I believe there's some truth to that, because I've trained with guys who are super flexible, and I find they're always lacking a little bit of strength. I know a lot of people are going to write me and say, no, coach, you could be just as strong and flexible. I believe it, yes, but I also seen a lot of guys who are stiff and super strong and guys who are super flexible and weak. So I think that the guys who do a lot of strength training and are very flexible, I think they could have been stronger. They're strong and flexible, yes, but I think they could have been stronger if their body was a little stiffer. For me, it makes sense because the more stiff your tendons are, the more resistance they're giving me. I think there's you don't want too much stiffness that you can't move, of course. I want to have a good amount of stiffness in my joints, but not be overly flexible. Okay, now if you look at GSP is incredibly strong, and he also has that kind of stiffness. You know, like when he moves, he's not as flexible. Like he's flexible in the legs, so to speak, but he's also very stiff in certain dimensions. You know, like certain ways. So I think it's good. I like Stuart McGill says, you want to have stiff hamstring. You don't want them overly flexible. I have to agree with the guy. That's why I like mobility. I like stability training. I don't like excessive flexibility training. Now, there is times where flexibility really comes into play. Like I got guys in the gym that their guard is so hard to pass because they're crazy flexible. They're crazy flexible. For guard retention, it matters. Flexibility matters. It's really important. There's certain things you can do in jiu-jitsu if you're super flexible. We call them crazy legs, you know, like the guys who have like crazy weird BJ Penn type legs. It does help in certain situations. They can be very tough to pass and they can get their legs in bizarre positions. They can make for good submissions. There is some plus to that. Yes, 100% agreed. However, it's rare those guys make amazing wrestlers. There are some guys, though. I've seen guys who are super flexible and they're incredible wrestlers. Believe me, I've met them. They're outliers. They're not the norm. Most wrestlers, they're going to have some flexibility, yes, but they're not going to be like noodles. When you wrestle them, they feel stiff. You know, they feel like they're made of iron. How often you gotten staph or any other viral infection in your BJJ career? How long should someone go back after contracting it? That's from Zubair Daoud. Look, I've gotten staph maybe, I lost track. Okay, it's normal. If you're going to be rolling on the mat twice a day, every day, it's really something you're going to see. I always try to wear a rash guard as long. I try to wear a rash guard around my legs as well, but you're going to get stuff on your legs. Now, me personally, I always put antifungal cream immediately. If I have something weird on my body, I put antifungal cream immediately. And usually it kills anything. You know, just kind of kills it before it turns into anything. Now, do I get full-blown staph? I haven't gotten full-blown staph in a long time, but it will happen. You know, sooner or later I'm going to get staph. But I don't get it very often. It's very, very rare. I just sometimes get like a weird little pimple or something, or a little like red mark on my skin. I put antifungal cream, it's gone. If I have a ringworm or something like that, I won't train. I'll cover it. I'll have somebody else teach class. Like I won't sweat on the mats and stuff. How often when should you go back? I would tell you when it's like dead. It looks like faded. It's not bright red. You know, if it's bright red, don't go and train on the mats. Don't go sweating on the mats. It has to be like completely faded. It has to look dead. You know, like you can barely see it anymore. Hey, coach, as a fellow Canadian, I like to see us do well, but lately it seems like males have performed poorly. Which Canadian male do you think has the highest chance for doing damage in the UFC? That's from Carter Yale. Well, you know, like I don't want to go into that because I train a lot of the guys, and I don't like to talk about the guys I train. But yeah, I know there was one Canadian show where I believe it was like all the Canadians lost, but there was, I mean, Mike Malott was winning the fight all the way till the end, you know, to literally the last minute. There was other guys on the card I thought that won. It was very close, could go either way, but I felt a couple of guys won, you know, like, so it could have gone the other way. It was just a bad night, but definitely Canada needs to try to redeem itself now on the next show. Salam, coach. Thanks for the advice and weight loss. So I'm thinking of amateur MMA at heavyweight. Rusty now. Childhood, I've gotten a power gift program, a power lift program / Muay Thai, heavyweight boxer, black belt jiu-jitsu at 40, on and off training, my body natural heavyweight What do you suggest? By the way, challenge, we should play chess online. 50 caliber, I don't want to disappoint you. I love chess, but I'm not really any good. But I do love to play, so let's do it. Let me reread this question. This was like, wait. I can't make out what you're saying here. I think you're saying you're 40 years old, you're BJJ black belt, you need to lose some weight. My body, natural heavyweight. What do you suggest? By the way, challenge. I would love to answer this question, but I'm not really sure what you're trying to tell me. I'm thinking of amateur MMA at heavyweight. Okay, so look, get into a good gym, get on a good diet. Try to reduce your calories by 15%, not more, and lose weight gradually. Don't try any crash dieting. Crash dieting always results in a bounce back, okay? Don't do it. Try to lose 1 pound, half a pound a week. That's it. A pound a week, max. Lose weight gradually, guys. That's when it really works. If you lose weight too fast, it always usually bounces back. Is jumping for conditioning bad for the joints? That's from Gabriel Collet. Gabriel, I suggest low impact plyometrics. I go over it in Strong and Stable Knees. Use Level Up 50 off. It's on the bottom of your screen. Go to jujiclub.com. Get Strong and Stable Knees. I teach you guys how to use low impact plyometrics. You don't want any impact on your joints. Okay, but plyometrics is a must. You got to use low impact plyometrics. Coach, what is your chest rating online? I don't have it online. I have it on my... Hold on, let me tell you right now. I have an app. They gave me a chest rating. Let's see. What's my chest rating? I don't even know. Game. New game. Hold on, what's my chest rating? How do I see my chest rating? New game. Okay, here's my chest rating. It says Ninja. Okay. It says 50,315 points. Okay, I don't know what point system they're using. What's my rating? Settings. Difficulty is 650. Okay, so 650, I guess that's beginner, right? 950 becomes bright beginner. So I'm not even a bright beginner on this thing. So I'm a beginner. The lowest level is 100. I'm at 650. So, you guys tell me. Guys, I don't play chess very often. I don't study the game. I just play it for fun. I love the game. I love to get into it a little bit, but I'm definitely not a I'm not a chess connoisseur. Thank you, Jeffrey. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Guys, I'm looking at the poll now. We're at 5941. Wow. What do you think of the 10-point must system being used in BJJ for CGI? That's from Jared. I can't wait to see that, actually. They're doing 3 rounds. I believe it's 5 minutes. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 3 5-minute rounds like MMA, 1 minute break. 10-point must. That's going to be exciting, actually. That's going to be kind of interesting. And the wall is sloped, so there's going to be a lot of, if you go towards the edge, you're going to get taken down. It's not like the fence. The fence holds you up. Makes takedowns sometimes a little harder to do. Okay, now the fence can be your friend, but it also could be really good for the other guy who's defending the takedown. I think it's going to press the action. They're going to get close to the edge. The guy's not going to want to back up anymore. He's going to have to engage the wrestling. They're going to get tipped over on the wall. It's going to make for creative grappling combinations. The fact that you're having 5-minute bursts can make it really exciting. 10-point must, so you got to get the action going. You got to go for the kill. You got to score that double. I think it's going to be really exciting. I think it's going to push the action. I hope I'm right, though. I'm really excited. It's going to be this weekend, but I could be completely wrong, I think we have to do it to find out. But I am liking the Okay, guys, hold on. I got to do a little babysitting here. There's a knucklehead or two here. Hide user on the channel. Bye-bye. Guy's gone. He's been banished. How often do you do mobility? That's from Gabriel Colley. Look, I do mobility whenever I feel I need it, because I've done it so much in the past that I feel like it's just maintenance now. It's only maintenance. And because I roll and I wrestle and I kickbox every day, my mobility is there. So you don't have to do mobility every day and then keep up that routine for 20 years. No, you do mobility for a while. I teach in strong and stable knees how to cycle it. Okay, so how to do work your maximal strength, how to work your endurance, and then after every fourth week you do stability, a little more stability ball. That's more your off week. So I'll do it when I'm feeling sore, when I'm feeling a little bit tight, and I need to take a little bit time off from rolling or hitting the weights. That's when I'll do it. It's more of therapeutic training. Okay, it's gonna make me feel good. It's gonna loosen up my joints, but I'm already very mobile. I don't need to be more mobile than I am, so I just maintenance now. I got to the point where I'm doing maintenance. Here's a really good exercise principle. It's use it or lose it. Okay, so because you roll every day and you kickbox, you throw your leg up in the air, you're moving your body. If you move your body in those ranges, you're gonna keep that range. If you developed a certain range and you use it on a regular basis, you won't lose it. Now, if I don't throw a punch or if I don't roll for a year and a half, then I want to get back on the mats. Let me tell you, my body's going to be stiff. I won't be able to roll. I won't be able to turn my body left and right and upside down, throw my leg up in the air like a triangle. Like I won't be able to do all those things. I got to rebuild back. Now, rebuilding back is actually good because once you had it, you can get it back more easily. That's why I tell people, get in shape when you're young, because when you're 40 and you want to get in shape for the first time, it's a much harder thing to do. Like, trust me, I've seen guys in their 40s like, I want to get in shape now. I never did any fitness in my life. It's like, wow, well, there's a lot of hurdles here. They don't know how their body works. They don't know what it's like to be in a little bit of pain and discomfort. They're not used to that. But if you did it when you're young, as you get older, you always have like that muscle memory, that discipline, that feeling of, you know what? I remember this feeling. I remember feeling like this. Oh yeah, I remember the heart rate, the heart in my throat. I remember that feeling. And you make your peace with it when you were young, so it's not so shocking. But a lot of people who've never trained in their entire life, once they start training, it could be very daunting. They have to go really slow, step by step. Slam Coach, thoughts and advice and weight loss. Thanks for the advice and weight loss. So I'm thinking of an amateur MMA at heavyweight. Rusty now, childhood. I've got a power gift pro / Muay Thai. I don't know what that means. I've got a power gift. 50 caliber. Listen, I'd love to help you, but I don't know what I've got a power. Oh wait, I read this one. I thought you rewrote it. Excuse me. Have you ever seen Street Martial Arts subreddit? It seems knowing at least some MMA is now common. What happens when it becomes as common as basketball? Then you have probably a lot of cool street fights. I think MMA is very common. Like, because I get so many young kids now coming to the gym. They all want to do MMA, and everybody grows up now watching UFC. Like, everybody's seen arm bars and triangles. Like when you're at the UFC and the triangle's coming on, people start cheering. They know what it is. It's not like everybody knows. It's kind of like running a touchdown. Everybody knows what an uppercut, a knee, a Muay Thai, a back fist, a head kick. Like it's so mainstream. Like you can't go anywhere in the world where they don't watch UFC. I don't think every metropolitan city in the world has UFC in the sports bars or whatnot. Like it's such a massive mainstream sport. MMA is completely 100% mainstream. Salam Coach, what do you think submission grappling will look like in 50 years? How advanced is our science today? ? Have we figured out most of the main moves and ideas? That's from Hamza. Look, I think the main moves are always there. However, the intricacies of Jiu-Jitsu are quickly changing. In the next 50 years, it's going to be crazy. Jiu-Jitsu is going to be so crazy. It's going to be all the UFC champions, I think, in 50 years from now are going to be heavily based in Jiu-Jitsu. Like the sport is growing. It's changing. It's morphing. Wrestling is really old. Boxing is really old. Kickboxing is quite old. Jiu-Jitsu is very new. Jiu-Jitsu, of course, existed in the ancient world. Like, let's call it submission grappling. But it disappeared for a long time because it was so dangerous. Now it's resurfaced. It's still very young. We're still very early. I think in the next 50 years, it's going to morph. It's going to change. There's going to be all sorts of crazy techniques. We're always discovering new little things. We're always discovering new ways of doing things. It's insane how much, like, that's what keeps me on the mats. I roll every day. I train every day. I love all the new little possibilities that we discover. It's insane. It's insane how many things can happen in a jiu-jitsu fight. It's insane. My little brother is a gamer kid, relatively unathletic. He has fun when it's just sparring, but tunes out when I explain technique. How do I get to him to the point where he asks me to train more? Question mark. That's from zero. Zero, look, I will tell you this. I will tell my younger brother, look, you got to train 3 times a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's in the bag. You got to do it. If not, you're a bad little boy. We're going to take away your allowance. We're going to take away your game. We're going to take away your console. That's your duty. Why? Because you're going to tell him, look, you have to maintain your health. Like you have to learn mathematics. Like you have to learn geography. Like you have to learn history. Like you have to eat properly. You know, if he tells you, hey, I want to eat, I want to drink Coca-Cola and eat candy bars all day, you're going to tell him, no, you can't do that. It's bad for your health. It's bad for your teeth. It's bad for your stomach. You have to eat a certain amount of foods, and then once in a while we'll give you a treat. That's how it is. Well, maintaining his body is also the same thing. You got to tell him, look, you have to train 3 times a week. And after a few months, we're going to increase it to 4. And that's how we're going to take care of your health. And when you're a fully adult, you could decide for yourself. You know, that's how I would approach it. It's his responsibility and your responsibility to maintain his physical ability. What if one day somebody picks on him or attacks him? He's got to know how to defend himself. That's his duty. Knowing how to defend yourself is your duty. Why do we feel like it's okay to compel our children to learn math, science, history, but we don't compel them to learn martial arts? Why? Martial arts is just as important. It teaches them how to think. It teaches them how to work hard. It teaches them character. It teaches them how to defend themselves, defend their loved ones. It makes them difficult targets. Bullies are going to have a hard time. Bullies are going to be like, hey, that kid knows how to defend himself. Let me move on to an easier target. There's so many benefits, but as a young child, of course, gaming is more immediate. The reward is more immediate. He doesn't see the long-term gain. So you got to remind him. You got to tell him, look, like you think eating chocolate bars and drinking soda is good, you're wrong about that. In the long term, it's going to rot your teeth. It's going to destroy your health. It's going to make you dependent on sugar and caffeine. It's going to degrade the quality of your life. But so is not training. And I'll tell you something. If you get him training 3 times a week, he's going to love you for it. Why? First of all, he's going to learn how to socialize. He's going to spend time with his older brother. That's good too. You guys are going to bond over training. It's going to make your family ties stronger. He's going to appreciate you. In the future, he's going to be like, you know what? My brother was good to me. You know, he trained me in martial arts. He spent time on me. He explained me stuff. He made me learn things. He improved me as a human being. Now, I'm going to say something that's super important. Pay attention. Feeling like you've improved is one of the greatest feelings in the world. I'm going to say that again because it's so important. Personal growth, when people think they've developed, when people think, hey, I've gotten better, whatever it is, especially physically, like if you got stronger, if you got faster, if you got wiser, if you upped your game in martial art, oh man, people love that feeling. It's a euphoric feeling. It's a feeling you can't buy. It's a feeling, listen to me, I don't care how many millions of dollars you have in the bank account. There's no feeling like upgrading your game, like feeling like, wow, I'm better now. It's such an incredible high. It's such an incredible feeling. I don't care if you did it academically, physically, health-wise. You lost 10 pounds. Oh, it's so euphoric. Look, I'm better than I was before. Oh, look at I'm more lean than I was before. Oh, I feel so good about this. Oh, I'm able to take people down now. I used to never get takedowns. Now I'm getting takedowns. Oh, no, I'm pitting guys up against the fence and getting into leg locks. I'm finishing leg locks. Like, it's such an incredible feeling. There's no money you can spend to improve yourself. You have to actually go and do the work. You have to actually spend time and develop and grow as a human being. It's one of the greatest feelings in the world. It's Abraham Maslow coined the term self-actualization. If you have a potential for something, once you exercise that potential and you actualize, it's an incredible feeling. He actually put it at the top of the pyramid. It's a little bit more complicated than that. He ended up rewriting his pyramid and put something else even higher, which I understand totally. I think he was right. But for a long time, self-actualization was the top of the pyramid. Exploiting all your potential. All your potential. I think it's a beautiful thing. Don't let your little brother miss out on it. And if you have to take him a little bit at the beginning, kicking and screaming, do it. It's the lesser of two evils. The greater of the two evils is not to spend time with him, not to develop him, let him have his way, let him be short-sighted. And then later on, he's going to be like, oh, the time passed. Now I'm like 20. People write me all the time. I'm 20 years old. Can I start? Is it too late? They're having like a drama. I'm like, guys, I started at 20. I started martial arts at 20. It's not too late. However, it's definitely better to start at 15. It's definitely better to start young. 12. Don't let him miss out on these very important times. You're the wiser older brother. Take charge. In my opinion, you must take charge. Invest in yourself. That's correct. Siki Joey. I think that's a good place to invest. Can you break down your own old fight footage for a vid? That's from Adam Rogers. Yeah, maybe one day. Maybe I'll crack open my old fights. Sure, why not? Could be fun. Coach, can you react to Fresh and Fit's most recent video of Christianity and Islam? Oh boy. Let's see here. Fresh and Fit. Don't get me in trouble, okay? Let's see what our friends are saying here. Okay, I haven't seen this video. Oh, goodness, no. Not these guys. I haven't listened to this, okay? But this is like, hold on a second. Oh, my goodness gracious. These guys are like trolls. Like this guy, Shamoon guy, oh my God, he's just a troll. It's just like total trolling. Listen, if I play this, I'll probably get flagged because it's like... But this guy, I can't stand this guy. The Shamoon guy, oh my God, he's just a troll. Like, he's just a pure troll. Guys, look, there are people who are not Muslim who get PhDs in Islamic theology, okay? They're called Orientalists. Google the term Orientalists, okay? There are Orientalists. They write books. They write all opinions. They get PhDs in Islam. They're not Muslims. They're foreigners. They come from other countries. They're not Arabs. None of them will have an opinion like this guy. Everybody would say this guy's a moron. Like if you brought him, it's like imagine you went and you found some like self-defense guru and you brought him to an MMA gym and everybody's like, why'd you bring this guy? And you're like, oh no, you don't understand. This guy's an expert, man. He disarms people. And it's like, no, he's not an expert. Like these guys with black belts, these guys who fight in the ring, these guys who fight at the highest level, they'll destroy this guy and they don't even want to spend a minute with this guy. Like they won't even engage with this guy. Nobody's interested in this guy. This guy's a nobody. And that's what these kind of trolls are. They're nobodies. In the world of academia, they're nobodies. Okay, they're literally nobody. They don't exist. If he wrote a book, nobody's going to buy it. Only their troll supporters. And the thing is with these guys, it's all about clicks and like insults and like just like the worst things, the most foul things that you could say. That's what they say. It's like, you're talking about religion. Like, I get it. You want to do that in sports? That's one thing. You want to do that in like, I don't know, like TV dramas, like reality shows. Okay. But you should leave religion out of it. Like, religion is the one place I think human beings should be able to go where like, okay, look, here we're going to be on good behavior. Like, okay, I might be a bad guy. I might have all sorts of like personal issues. I might be a thug in the street, but I respect religion. Okay, you guys are here. You're in the temple. You're in the mosque. You're in your church. I'm going to respect you guys. Even though I might not agree with you guys, I'm going to respect. I get it. There's something sacred here. This is the space where people come and we're on our best behaviors and we're trying to be good human beings. We're trying to like cultivate some kind of humanity. We don't want to be vile everywhere 24/7. And this guy, like, he just like, it's just venom, spew, hatred. I think he gives a horrible name to Christianity. If I was a Christian, I would be humiliated to be associated with this guy. Like, I would ban this guy like completely. Like, I wouldn't listen to anything he has to say. Now, there are Christians out there I highly respect. Like, for instance, James White. James White, he's a very true Christian. Like, he believes in Christianity. He's a fundamentalist Christian, and he's a very well learned Christian. He's a very well educated Christian. He knows everything about everything. Like, he's very well schooled, I should say. Okay. Orientalists, guys, find Orientalists. Like, ask them, what do you guys think about this topic? What is the history of Islam? What is the history of Christianity? That's what I do. Like, for instance, When I learn about Christianity, I don't go to the guy who's like a troll like on Christianity. Like I won't go there. I'll go to a legitimate scholar, somebody who's schooled, somebody who's learned, somebody who has academic credentials, because it's really just about clicks. Like people have now turned like trolling into a money-making system, and it's just like something I want to stay away from, like completely. Like that's why people always ask me, hey, you said you were gonna have a discussion with Vegan Gains. The only reason I don't have a discussion with Vegan Gains, there's only one reason. One, he's a troll. That's it. He's trying to always, like, he's always vile. He's always like insulting people. Like I didn't know that about him when I first agreed. I thought he was a gentleman. You know, I thought he's vegan. You know, vegan is supposed to be nice, supposed to be a compassionate person. You're supposed to care about animals' feelings. Imagine how you're going to treat human beings. You should be treating human beings well. And he's just always like, you know, negative, spewing. I don't want to get into that, you know, because I come from a world, you open your mouth like that, well, we're face to face. We're going to fight soon anyway. So you want to talk, go ahead. We're going to be in the octagon soon. We're going to fight each other. So, you know, you deal with the consequences. And I find it to be cowardly. You know, you're doing that from afar on the internet. Oh, look how I'm afar on the internet. I'm insulting people. I'm ridiculing people 24 hours a day just for clicks. Goodness gracious, man. Honestly, I lose faith in humanity sometimes when I see things on the internet. I just find it so, like, childish. But really what it is, guys, really what it is that gets clicks. Clicks convert to money. Oh, I'm going to be the world's biggest troll. Why? Money. It's all about click. Oh, they like it because I swore I insulted the guy. It's just so, it's really babyish. It's like, you're too stupid to make money the real way. That's the thing. The honest truth, guys. They don't have the brain cells to make money the correct way. So they have to go and do it this way. You know? I hate to put it that way, but honestly, it's pathetic. It's really pathetic. They're so desperate for money. They're going to say racist, vile, disgusting things. They're going to trash people. They're going to insult. They just want you to click so they can get that dough. Sad. Will all 3 of your children get their black belts? Question mark. That's from Adam Rogers. I hope so. I would definitely hope so. I meant I've trained since I was a kid. Rugby. Many BBs. What's many BBs? Many black belts? Maybe? I don't know. I'm 5'11". You helped me lose weight correctly after a bad injury. So lost the weight. Ah, okay. Now I understand you, 50 caliber. I've always been a lean, fast martial artist, athletically gifted, so amateur MMA heavyweight at 40, question mark, was pro Muay Thai. Ah, you were a pro Muay Thai fighter. Is this a good idea? Question mark. 50 caliber, yes. I would tell you, if you're a heavyweight especially, yeah, because, you know, at heavyweight, you got that power, man. You got that power. Listen, if you lost the weight and you're in shape, 40 is young, man. 40 is the new 20, my friend. 40 is the new 20. Come on, man. I'm 44. You're young. 40 is nothing. 40 is you're almost still a shab. You just became mature. 40 is really young. Believe me. 40 is very young. For training philosophy, what core principles do you emphasize most when training? When training finders. What? For training philosophy, what core principles do you emphasize most when training finders? What's a training finder? And how these principles evolved over the years of coaching. Christopher, look, I would tell you, go in the gym with a goal. Okay, so like, I like going in the gym with a goal. Like, I don't tell people what my goal is. I just go in with the gym with a goal. Like today, okay, this week I'm gonna score five takedowns today. 5. I have to score 5 takedowns. I'm gonna score 5 takedowns every day, Monday through Friday. 25 takedowns at the end of the month, at the end of the week, at least minimum. That's my minimum quota. I like to do that. I like to like tell myself, okay, I'm focusing on submissions now. I don't leave the practice room till I have 7 submissions. I give myself quotas. It makes the training more interesting. It makes me develop, makes me make different decisions on the mat. So I go through that kind of stuff. Now, when I do this, I don't tell people because I'd be kind of weird, you know, like, but sometimes I'll be like, okay, I'm going to pass the guard today. Today I'm focusing on passing the guard. How many times can I pass the guard? So I'll calculate how many times I passed the guard today. If it was, let's say 7, okay, tomorrow I'm going to try to do 7. I'm trying to do 7 again. I'm going to try to up to 9. It's always, I like to work with a number. I find it very motivating. So if I'm sparring, I'm like, guys, like, okay, today I'm going to land 8 body shots. I have to land 8 body shots a round. It helps me develop. It helps me gamify my training. It helps me like have something fun to do. So I really think it makes a big difference in development. Okay, guys, I got to put one guy in a timeout here. That's 24 hours, sir. Okay, guys, we got 59% for Adesanya. 41 for DDP, guys. 41. Sugar Ray Leonard versus Roy Jones at 160 pounds. Listen, in their prime, that's a crazy fight. In their prime, that would have been a crazy fight. I got no idea who wins that one. Honestly, I have no idea who wins that one. Coach, you missed my super chat. What are Islam's views on voting for a female president? Well, it's not something that really happened in the Muslim world. Watch Rudy Rockman October 7th debate. He's reasonable. That's from Adam Rogers. I've heard of him. I have heard of him. I will look it up. I don't know who he debated. I saw his debate with Noam Chomsky, actually. He was very reasonable. He's much more open-minded. He's much more sensitive to the Palestinian cause. He admits Palestinians deserve a right of return, if I remember correctly. Which, look, here's the thing, like, people debate all the time. Guys, the debate is done. Like, the international bodies have all come together. Professional judges come together. Scholars come together. They debate, like, what's going on. Israel and Hamas are both in clear violation of international law. Look, they're both in violation of international law, Quranic law, biblical law, atheistic. The general consensus that atheists are going to be like, that's wrong. Killing innocent civilians is wrong. Both of them did it. Okay, both of them did it. Both regimes have war crimes. Israel has gone far beyond. Okay, so if you stack up the negative points, there's more resolutions on Israel than any other country. The only reason they don't get put into motion is because they're always blocked by the U.S. and a few other countries. Okay, but there is no doubt Israel is breaking the most amount of international law. Okay, now they've legalized rape, so to speak. Now they're petitioning to allow rape. Ben-Gvir just said, we should kill the prisoners. There's overpopulation of prisoners. Let's kill them. Well, there's no due process. Who are you killing? You're just killing people, Like, are we going to do death camps again? Are we going to do torture camps? Are we going to allow rape? Like, that's a blatant international law. Like The Hague had tweeted arrest warrants, and Ben-Gvir just wrote Hague Schmeg, like Hague, like the international law, whatever. It's like, dude, that's insane. That's insane. That's like pure insanity. And the man, he's a head of national security, and he was a convicted terrorist. Now, listen, when October 7th happened, I came on this channel and I was like condemning the killing of innocent civilians. Like, I did it, and they're Arabs and they're fellow Muslims. And it's wrong. It's haram. It's internationally wrong. It's Quranically wrong. You cannot kill unarmed combatants. And of course, people give 101 excuses. Unacceptable, especially if we're killing children. Okay, for me, that's a red line. I condemn them all, both sides. However, then it came out there wasn't 40 babies beheaded. It wasn't true. And then the statistics came out. Guys, we still don't know what really happened on October 7th exactly. I saw one documentary online. They said there was one child killed that was not born. So the mother died. She was pregnant. And I believe one other child was killed by a stray bullet. Could have been an Israeli bullet. Could have been a Hamas bullet. They don't know. There was no active burning and binding of children. That, no. Now, some Israelis said, we thought they were children because we never seen burned bodies before. They looked really small. So there was that controversy. How old are they? It was hard to tell. What age are they, etc. But there was nothing on the list of names of people who were missing and the bodies found. They tried to connect it. Again, guys, it's not a perfect science because you have so much carnage. It's hard for them to figure out what's what. But from what I understand, there was no targeting of children. Now, in the Israeli side, there is targeting of children. There's Palestinian children with bullet holes in the head by snipers. Okay, so you can't say that's a mistake. We have the killing. We have so many killings. First of all, you have bombing of refugee camps, bombing of hospitals. It's an insane amount of war crimes after another. Literally every single day. They just bombed the mosque. A school, they were doing the prayers in the school. They bombed the school. It was a refugee camp, a designated safe zone. Designated safe zone. Blew them up, killed them all. Killed over 100, like nearly 100 Palestinians. I think it was 80 this time. I lose track, guys. Sometimes they kill 100. Sometimes they kill just under 100. Sometimes it's over 100. There's so much death and carnage. They're dropping 2,000-pound bombs. Guys, if you don't know, like in Iraq, the biggest bombs that were dropped was 500 pounds. We're talking about 2,000 pounds in the most densely populated area in the world, and half of the population are children. It's an insane amount of murder. And the world is not out there condemning it. Not enough of the world. Guys, you should always, a child died, condemn it. A child died, condemn it. I don't care if you're Muslim, Jewish, atheist, Christian, condemn it. Don't be an animal. Don't be a monster. Doesn't matter whose side. Doesn't matter what your politics are. You cannot kill children. There are no excuses. These children are born in war. They never knew. They have nothing to do with our politics. They were born, and there's conflict is already happening. And this conflict, let me tell you all, it's all because of egotistical, ultra right-wing leaders. We can live together. We can live in harmony. We can have plenty of food and drink for everybody, plenty of international space for everybody. We have our holy spaces. We can share them. We're all from the same monotheistic religion. Like, it's so mad. I think, guys, let me tell you something, okay? I have a lot of hope for the future because the polling of the youth, the young generations, Generation Z, Generation Alpha, they despise all this conflict. They despise this conflict. They're not for any one ethnicity over another, ethnic cleansing, ultra right wing. They're going to be left. The future is more left. The Middle East is going to be more left. You'll see. It's coming, and it's coming quick. The next generation, they're going to wash their hands from all this. Because here's the thing, what people don't understand, there's a right-wing lobby of Christians that keep Israel well-funded. Okay, now let me tell you something. Those evangelicals are getting really old. They're really old. This is the last few generations. That's it. The rest, they're not evangelical. Because I don't know if you guys are familiar, but the evangelicals want the Jews in Israel because they think it's going to bring the Christ sooner. And when the Christ comes, he's going to kill half of them. If you guys don't know, like it's going to be the end times, right? He kills half of them, the other half convert. The ones who don't convert, they get the sword. Lo and behold, they want to hasten the comeback of Jesus, alayhi salam, so he can put the kibosh on them. But is that a loving thing? Like, no, they believe Jesus is going to come back if this is the case, so bring him back. The next generation, guys, they don't think like that. The polling is one-sided. They're not trying, the new generation are not going to be trying to hasten. Now, let me tell you something. If Israel loses its funding from the U.S., which is, I think, going to happen in the next 10, 20 years, it's going to happen. Because now they're sending billions and billions. And that's the old school. That's the last generation. The new generation don't want to do that. They're like, that's crazy. Why are we sending them money? We need that money here. The new generation are not going to want to send that money. And they estimate Israel, if they weren't getting funding and if they weren't getting military aid, it would take 5 days before they run out of ammunitions. It would take 5 days. They can't keep fighting all these fronts. Israel, if they were smarter, they would try to make peace with their neighbors. They would try to coexist. They have to go on a coexistence campaign. They have to get rid of this ultra right wing Netanyahu, Ben Gvir, these psychopaths. One of their cabinet members was just saying, "Oh, we have the moral right to starve all 2 million Palestinians, but the world won't want it. The world won't let it. But we have the moral right to starve 2 million people." Like, that's complete insanity. That is complete and utter insanity. I really hope people sober up. Call for peace. Call for a truce. Put a red line in the sand. No killing of any children or women or innocent people. Anybody who's killed should go through due process. And not an Israeli court. Israeli court is 99.9% conviction rate. There's no justice in Israeli court. It's like putting a white man in a KKK, a court of a KKK. They literally have a 99.9% conviction rate. It's completely unfair. It's a racism. It's a modern day racism. Luckily, though, the next generation, they're not having any of it at all. Hannibal directive was invoked by IDF even against their own soldiers using attack helicopters. That's from 50 caliber. Yes, that's the allegation. Okay, they did once upon a time have it. Then they say they terminated it, but it seems to have been executed. They say during October 7th. Why? Because you saw the concert goers. All the cars were burned. They were rocketed and burned. The Hamas, they only had hand grenades and machine guns. That's it. They didn't have rocket fire. So how did all those cars get burned? Well, helicopters fired and shot everybody, killed everybody. Why? Why would they do that? That's the question. Why would they annihilate the entire getaway vehicles? All the getaway vehicles, everybody can run in their car. Why would they destroy that entire area? You have houses that are blown up by shell fire. Hamas didn't have shell fire. Anyways, we have 100% testimony from the people on the Israeli side. They went on interviews, they went on podcasts talking about, yes, the IDF was shooting at us, blowing up buildings. They blew up the building next to me. I ran away. The IDF was also shelling. Why were they shelling? They're shelling their kibbutz, their Israeli homes. We have to have an independent investigation. It's not allowed. Israel won't allow it. Thoughts on the 127 Hours movie? I haven't seen the 127 Hours movie. Oh, that guy. Yes, I have seen this. Yes, the guy who chops his own arm off. Oh man, I saw that a long time ago. Crazy movie, guys. His arm gets caught in a rock. He has to cut it off and kind of makes an escape. Incredible. Really, what a nightmare of a situation. Who is funding Hamas? Well, that's a great question. You know, Qatar and Israel together help fund Hamas. That's why, I'm not a big Hamas fan, because Israel put Hamas in power. Why did they put Hamas in power? Because they wanted another ultra right-wing government in Palestine, because they know they won't make peace with them. Because before that, you had the PLO. The PLO was ready to make a two-state solution. Israel doesn't want a two-state solution. This is not me saying this. This is Netanyahu bragging about it online. Okay, he said it many times. He said publicly, Hamas is an asset. We control how high the flame goes. That way we always have an eternal conflict. That way we can push them out slowly. We can fight them forever. He didn't want somebody out there who will be a, quote, partner for peace. Because they say, look, we don't have a partner for peace. Hamas is in charge. They don't want peace. They want to dismantle our government. We can't have that. Guys, it's not like some secret, because Netanyahu once upon a time bragged about it. Now it blew up in his face. He never thought this would happen. I don't know. I don't know what this man's thinking. Okay, guys. Cancel me, but I think women being granted so much power in the modern West led to both the wokeness and watering down the American Christian empire. That's from MF James. MF, look, when you have women in power and you have women in office and all that, it inspires the generation of girls not to be homemakers and, of course, to go out in the world and lead the world. And if you read the Bible and you know the Bible, we know the Bible very well. You know, I studied for many years in university as well. And it says, in the Bible, a woman should not speak in church. She should cover her hair. And if she has a question, she should ask her husband at home. Because the husband is the head of the wife. Like Jesus is the head of the church and the Father is the head of Jesus. So there's a hierarchy. There's the Father, there's the Christ, there's the church, there's the husband, there's the wife. There's a pecking order. Now, a lot of people get upset at these kind of verses, but look, that's in the Bible. And let me tell you something. The Christians were incredibly successful. The Christians were beyond successful. They were the champions. They're among the champions of history. You have the Christians, you have the Muslims, you have Confucianism, you have Buddhism. These are the four great religions. You have Hinduism. Like, these ideologies spread incredibly in the ancient world, like incredibly medieval world, in ancient world. They spread. Of course, there are other ideologies as well, but these spread immensely. They influenced the world immensely. There were other groups that you had never heard of. Why hadn't you never heard of them? Because they weren't as successful. They didn't have that pecking order. They didn't have such a hierarchy. Now, look, there were different groups that were successful in different ways, but I'll tell you something. It worked for Christianity because the woman was very well, how should I say? Look, the Christian's role model was the Virgin Mary. Think about that. The Virgin Mary. Like, that's your role model. Be a virgin. When foreigners come from out of town, no. That girl's a virgin. She won't even look at you. That girl's, she's spoken for. She's loyal to her man. She's loyal to Christianity. She wants to get married to Christ. She wants to be, like a nun. They say they're married to Christ. And, okay, she's going to marry a man. She's going to have his kid, but she's very devoted to her man. She's the next best thing to a virgin. Okay? Now, today, what's our modern girl's role model today? Well, who's the most popular woman in the world? Like, who's our role model? Well, it's a lot of like celebrity. I have Kim Kardashian pops to mind. Like, is that who you want to be your child's role model? A lot of people are going to say yes. That's a crazy thing. I'll be like, yeah, I'd rather my daughter be like Kim Kardashian. I'm proud of Kim Kardashian. I want her shaking her gluteus maximus, and that's her asset. That's her way to make money. That's her privilege. She's empowered, this and that. And then one time I remember seeing like a clip of Kim Kardashian crying her eyes out, freaking out. I was like, because her kids went on Roblox and they found her sex tape. Never mind the confetti, okay? I triggered that accidentally. And she was crying and she was having a breakdown because her kids were playing a game. And in the game, one of the things you can win or trade or collect was the Kim Kardashian sex tape. Why is she so embarrassed? Why isn't she proud of herself? That's how she made her money. What, do you think your kids are not going to find out? There's a shame. There's like this shame, inside her. There's like, my kids are going to think I'm something. I don't want to say the word. It rhymes with door. There's a word that rhymes with door. D-O-O-R. Oh, my kid, the value of in their eyes, I'm going to drop. Their kids are going to wake up one day. They're going to be older. They're going to learn about their mother. Now, how are they going to see their mother? What is that going to do to their relationship with their mother? I don't know. Maybe it harms it. Maybe it doesn't. But I'll tell you what will be harmed. The family unit. So if you look at Christians, we're very successful having a nuclear family. Muslims till this day were very successful having a nuclear family. Hindus till this day very successful with a nuclear family. A mom, a dad, 2-3 kids. How many times on this channel have I talked to you about like that's the right way to go? Put the family's need first. I always tell you our paradigm is God first, then the family's needs, then me. I'm third. I'm even lower than third. But in the West, we're taught find your true happiness. Your happiness counts. Your happiness is first. But don't harm anybody. That's liberalism in a nutshell. Okay, so in the West, we're taught liberalism. John Locke, Voltaire, liberalism. It's all about liberalism. Oh, the French opening ceremony, that was all about liberalism, man. We're not harming anybody doing this. Turns out you're pissing a lot of people. Okay, you're pissing them off. We're going to apologize. We didn't mean to piss people off. We would just wanted to push the envelope without harming anybody, because that's our whole philosophy of life. We want to swing around our genitalia. We want to show our bodies. We want to like put on all sorts of sexy lingerie, but we're not harming anybody. As long as we're not harming anybody. We want to do all this radical stuff that's not allowed, wasn't allowed back then, but it's allowed now. Because don't forget, we're not harming anybody. But what they don't realize is they are creating harm. They just can't see the harm. Because like I tell my kids, if you live for your own personal pleasure, it's ironic, but you're going to end up miserable. Human beings were made to live in packs. We're made to belong to a group. If you don't belong to a group, imagine everybody in the group is out for themselves. Well, let me tell you, you're not going to be a very united group. You're going to start dividing one direction to another. One direction to another. I'm going to end it shortly, but guys, I'm going to leave you with the story of Gaijis. Okay, let me tell you a little story about Gaijis. Gaijis, this comes from the Plato's Republic, one of my favorite books. So Gaijis, one day he was tending to his flock. He's an ancient Greek character, okay, made up character. He's totally fiction. And he's tending to his flock. He's sitting around. He's a peasant. He's a nothing. He's got nothing in life. Gaiji's life is not really great. It's just like regular. And one day a crater opens up in the earth. He's like, wow, he's like blown away. He's like, look at this thing. The earth just opened up. And he wants to explore the crater. And he starts looking inside. He's creeping inside. He takes a torch with him and he starts looking inside. And he discovers a ring. He puts the ring on and he's like, wow, I found the ring. Like, what a crazy thing, for me to find the ring out here. He puts on the ring and then he realizes when he turns the ring in a certain way, he turns invisible. He's just found out that he has the power of invisibility. Guys, please, no more super chats. I'm ending it very shortly. Gaijis is like, wow, I'm invisible, man. I'm invisible. I have a power of invisibility. So what does Gaijis do? Gaijis decides to grape. I'm going to use the word grape, okay, like grape, but take out the G. He's going to grape certain women. He's going to kill his enemies. He's going to conquer certain peoples. He's going to take from his enemies. He's going to poison his enemies. He's going to take the women he wants, and there's nothing wrong with it. Now, of course, in the Republic, they're debating whether he's right or wrong. And Socrates' interlocutors, the people he's arguing with, are saying he's not wrong. Why shouldn't he eat all the grapes he wants? You guys understand what I'm trying to say when I say grapes. Why shouldn't he take all the women he wants? Why shouldn't he kill all his enemies? Why shouldn't he torture everybody who's ever made him miserable? He has the power of invisibility. And then Socrates goes on to a whole spiel. It's quite a great spiel. He says, look, imagine we live in a society where everybody thinks like that. Every time I turn my back, you stab me in the back. You steal from me. When you're not looking, I steal from you. I try to take advantage of you. Well, that's invisibility, right? You weren't looking. You didn't see me steal it. You don't know if I stole it or another guy stole it, but it's one of us. And we live in a society where the culture is all kill or be killed, steal when nobody's looking. We're nice to each other's faces, but the second we can, we steal, we lie, we cheat. We do all sorts of evil things. Well, guess what happens, Socrates says? He says, then the society starts becoming corrupted. They start plotting against one another. I'm plotting against you. You're plotting against me. We're all thinking about how we're going to how we're going to one-up each other, how we're going to steal from each other, how we're going to hurt one another when we're not looking. And Socrates says, by the time we're done fighting each other, our competing civilizations are going to crush us. Think about a competing civilization. Your neighbors next door. They're actually honest. They're friendly. They're kind. They're supportive of one another. They don't steal from one another. They lend money to one another. They help support each other's businesses. They have a harmony together. Well, guess what? They're going to survive, thrive, multiply, reach the sky. They're going to be far more successful than the corrupt civilization. Well, in the West, I think we've become very corrupt. We hate even having kids. Liberals don't even have kids anymore. The birth rate is plummeting. There's a birth rate crisis in the West. There's this man by the character of Tommy Robinson. He's like, migrants are bad. Get the migrants out of here. He makes all sorts of, by the way, guys, he says all sorts, he spews all sorts of facts that I checked them all. None of them came out true. Actually, turns out migrants in the UK have a lower crime rate than UK natives. And I couldn't find any of the grape statistics he mentioned. He mentioned this in his interview, this graping going on. I looked it up. None of it was true. None of it. And if somebody has a reliable source, Please send it to me because I'd love to be corrected on this point because I cannot find it. I actually went online and challenged his followers. I said, somebody give me those statistics. Somebody give me a source to those statistics because I fact-checked him and I can't find it. So I'm waiting. I'm reserving judgment. But so far, all the stats I found is that migrant crime is lower. Anyways, long story short, what Tommy Knucklehead Robinson, doesn't have two brain cells in his head, Robinson, he doesn't understand is that the birth rate in Europe and the UK is like 1.42 if I remember correctly. It's very low. They need immigration. If you don't have immigration, your society will collapse. Look at countries that don't allow immigration like Japan and South Korea. They're on the verge of collapse. Don't take my word for it. Google it. Do your research. They're having trouble. They're having massive amounts of trouble. Immigrants, mark my words, put more money into the system. There's a reason why politicians want immigration, because they put more money into the system. They cost money up front, and because in the UK they're having riots, they're attacking hotels that are taking in refugees. Guys, those hotels, that's an investment. Yeah, you're putting a few $1 million into these migrants, but guess what? These guys all are hardworking individuals. They want to work 20 hours a day. They want to work 12 hours a day. They're going to pay back into the system. Immigrants, guys, I'm in a country that takes loads of immigrants. Immigrants put more money into the system than they take out. My family immigrated here. My father pays taxes. I pay taxes. God knows I pay tons of taxes, okay? We put more money into the system. Now, of course, if somebody commits a crime, whether he's a migrant or not, he should be held to the highest standard of the law, of course. He should be held against the law. But migrant or not, what does it matter if you're a migrant or not? If you're white or you're black or you're orange or if you're whatever. Who cares what color you are? If you broke the law, well, you got to pay the piper. You got to pay the price. These migrants coming in are committing less crime. Now, if he's a migrant or not, it doesn't matter. Justice is blind. What are you on about? If there was a migrant issue, if migrants were committing more crime, then it would be a policing issue. It would be a vetting issue. It wouldn't be because they're inherently criminals. Now, here's the thing. In Muslim countries, there's far less graping in the Muslim world than anywhere else in the world. That's the thing. What he doesn't understand is he's trying to blame graping on Muslims. The Muslims, we have the lowest rate of grapes in the world. We have the lowest. What is he on about? What is he talking about, man? Now, it's poverty. In places where there's poverty, you have such problems. It's not a question of what religion or color you are. It's the question of how rich you are. Because people who are poor commit more crimes. People who are poor have more violence. Would you say that about South America? South America has a tremendous amount of violence. They also have a tremendous amount of poverty. In certain places of Africa, you have a tremendous amount of poverty. Guess what? You have a tremendous amount of violence and crime. Would you say that about their population? We're not going to go there, are we? We're not going to start saying, hey, this about certain races. Knucklehead Tommy Robinson doesn't understand one thing. We can fact check everything he says, and I haven't seen one source. Please, guys, if you have a source, please, I'll come out here and I'll correct myself happily if there is such a source. But I can't find it unless you're telling me they're bleaching the internet. So I don't know. They're bleaching the internet. And by the way, guys, grape statistics are very complicated because not every country counts graping the same way. So in one country, this is considered graping. In another country, it's not considered graping. In one country, if you grape your wife 10 times, they count it as 10 grapes. Okay? In other countries, they don't count it as 10. They count it as 1. Some countries don't count it because that's your wife. Like it's so all over the place. Okay? So experts, when you read the experts, what they say about grape statistics, they tell you, look, here are the statistics. Here's the problems with our statistics. This is why we're telling you it's not perfect. Here are the countries that do it most. Here are the countries that do it least. Arab countries do it least. Muslim countries do it least. The number one, the safest country in the world for women for graping is Medina. That's the one place that never happens. It doesn't happen. It's the lowest statistic. The safest place for women in the world. It's 100% Muslim. Like, he's saying we got to stop immigration. Dude, if you stopped immigration, and he's saying we got to put them on boats and get them out of here. Dude, there's 5 million Muslims in your country, man. There's more. I think it's more, like probably more than 5. France is 5. I think UK might be close, maybe a little over 5. Dude, how are you going to take 5 million people out of your country? That's insane. First of all, that would start a revolution. Second of all, your economy would collapse. It would take less than that to really hurt your economy. Like, it's an insane amount of stupidity, and the guy caused a riot. It's still going on today. It's been like 2 weeks. They're throwing Molotov cocktails. They're beating up cops. They're throwing firecrackers at cops. Young kids are going to do hard time because they listen to Knucklehead Robinson. A tough guy with a fucking... man, I'll tell you. This guy, if he's ever in my vicinity, he came to Canada, but he was in Vancouver. I'm telling you, if this guy landed in Montreal, oh my God, I can't even say. I wish he would come to Montreal. But he's an imbecile of the highest order. And I can't believe people actually take this man's words seriously. He incited riots. I think he's going to go to jail. First of all, he's committed multiple crimes, assaulting people. He's been defamation. He paid $100,000 in 100,000 pounds. Mortgage fraud. Like, he has he entered America illegally with a fake passport. So think about that. He entered a country illegally, but his whole thing is like, stop the illegal immigrants. But he was also an illegal immigrant. He was arrested. He's got a long rap sheet, man. He's been to jail many, many, many times. Many, many times. He's got in trouble many times. He's an imbecile. He's a propagandist. He's making money off all this. People send him donations. I feel really bad for the young kids who are going to end up going to jail because they went and rioted in the streets while he's sitting collecting checks, making money. But I think this time he's going to go to jail. Now these riots, I think he's going to get in a lot of trouble. I think he's going to do a hard time for terrorism. Ironic. He keeps saying, they're terrorists, they're terrorists. Guess what? Your own country is going to label you a terrorist. I highly, highly doubt he doesn't do hard time. I really think Mr. Robinson is going to do hard time. Okay, guys, with that said, I want to end it on something more positive. So come on, guys, give me something a little bit more positive. For us, who wins, Gabby Garcia or Craig Jones? That's from CSS voted. Okay, look, Craig Jones is going to win that one easily, but I think for our entertainment, he's going to make it fun. And he might, I heard a bit of his podcast with more plates, more dates, and he was talking about how much steroids he takes, which I thought was crazy because I'm happy he's open about it. Like, I'm telling you guys, I have tremendous respect. At least he's honest about it. He's telling the young guys, look, I take this stuff. I really highly respect him for that. Like, I think that's great. If one day I ever do like TRT or hormone therapy, I want to be open about it. I'm not going to do like Liver King and be like, oh, I'm perfectly natural. It's all about these 9 ancestral thingamajiggers. No, be honest about it, man. Like, I don't know how these people live with themselves. I applaud Craig Jones, man. I applaud him. That was a great interview. It was amazing that he was open about it. Thank you for not insulting our intelligence. I think Craig Jones easily beats her. However, he might toy around with her. He might like just have some fun and like maybe shock us all by losing for fun. But I heard he has a $1 million bet, so he's not going to want to give her $1 million. That's for sure. So other than that, I think he's going to make it entertaining. Can he beat her easily? Yes. Coach, are all TriStar locations included in membership? That's from Wajih. No, they're not, my friend. But you could have easily just called the TriStar Gym and asked. Fawad Honda Kuchi, calligraphy. He's a Japanese guy who learned Arabic calligraphy and is most beautiful calligraphy I've seen. That's from Hassan Haytham. Hassan, I'll try to look him up. Thank you for sharing. Thoughts on Judge Dredd? Is that the Stallone? I watched that movie many, many years ago. I can't remember it. Coach, do you think the American empire will fall? And what do you think about one-state solution in Palestine? That's from Rambo 1999. Look, every empire is going to fall sooner or later. America is still very young. It's only been about like 200 plus years. Who knows? Time will tell. But America is quickly changing too. Don't forget, they're quickly changing. The next generation is very left-wing. I would say very, very left-wing. So who knows? It's hard to tell. What do you think about a one-state solution in Palestine? Look, I would like to see one person, one vote. One person, one vote. And if the leader's Palestinian or Israeli or Jewish or not Jewish, so be it. One person, one vote. If you're truly a democracy, that's what it is. Israel has a reverse democracy now. It's, oh, we tell you who gets to vote. No, it's the people who vote who tell you who the government is. It's not the government who tells us who the people are. It's the people who tells us who the government is. That's how it should work. Right now, it's the Israeli government telling us who the people are. No, that's wrong. It's the people who decide the government. If you're truly a democracy, that's what it is. That's what democracy is. What you have now is an ethno state. If you're not Jewish, you don't have rights. If you're not Jewish, you don't belong here. You must remain a minority. Now, some people are going to be like, oh, well, there's 2 million Arabs that live there. Yes, but they're a minority. They get less funding, less education. It's Jim Crow laws. It's what the whites did to the blacks in America. You could live in these poor neighborhoods. We don't give you any money. We don't let you expand. We don't want you to live in certain places. There's Jewish-only places, like there was white-only buses. There's roads that only the Jews can use. There's roads only the Arabs are forbidden to go on. It's based on race, guys. Come on, we're 2024. That's done, man. That's done a long time ago. So, and there's a lot of violence, like in the West Bank now. They're killing Muslims. They're killing Arabs every day. They're taking homes every day. Every international body condemns the settlers. Even the U.S. said, look, we're not going to allow visas for the settlers anymore. They're not going to be allowed in the U.S. Not that they care, but tomorrow if they start, if tomorrow war breaks out and the settlers want to leave, they can't go to America. Look, the settler situation is horrific. It's horrific. It's literally people knocking on your door, pointing a gun in your face, kicking you out. The military police, the IDF protects the settlers. If the Palestinians fight back, the settlers and the IDF, an army, shoots them, kills them. They kick people out, women, children, put them out on the street, homeless, and they take their homes. It's really appalling. It's disgusting. It's really, I don't know how to say it. It's revolting. If the situation was flipped, if it was Muslim Arabs doing that to Jews, I would tell you the same thing. It's appalling. It's disgusting. It's horrendous. It's haram. It's bad. It's evil. It shouldn't be done. Believe me, when Arabs do bad things, I'm the first one to condemn them. I'm not going to say, oh, it's okay because they're Arab. I'm going to have to look the other way. No, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry to say, but that's ridiculous. Check out Historion. It's the most comprehensive history channel on the Middle East and Islamic history. They are as objective as it gets to history. Well worth your time, especially vids on Sira. Let me look that up, actually. History UN. Let me look that up real quick. You guys, sometimes you give me good stuff to watch. I like the educational stuff. History UN. All right, let's see here. Arabness. Okay, let's look that up. Okay, look, I'm going to subscribe. Without even watching one video, I'm going to subscribe. That's how much I trust you. I have subscribed. Since you said it's about Arabic history, one of my favorite topics. Okay, guys, let's finish it up on a fun one. We've been on it for 2 hours, friends. Coach, what's the difference between ignorant and stupidity? Kind of the same thing. Fras, who wins, Ngannou or Aspinall? That's a good question, man. That's a good one. Wow. Too bad Ngannou's not in UFC, man. That would have been a crazy fight. The way Aspinall leans back, man, that scares me. But he's got a crazy, I feel like he get knocked out into oblivion because Ngannou, if he connects, it'll be over. But he's so quick with that it works for him. But his crazy double leg also would convince me that he can get the job done. That would be that would be the greatest heavyweight fight of all time. Who wins? I don't know. Don't call them settlers. Thieves is a better term. That's from Detroit Viper. I would agree with you. I would definitely agree. But there's even a harsher term which I think would make more sense. Coach, you missed my super chat about asking about what entails Sufism and what is mysticism in Islam. That's from Pranay. Pranay, look, I don't really operate with the term Sufism. I don't even know what that means. I know what I know what the medieval Muslims meant by it. Okay, it's like Ghazali. But today's Sufis, I don't even know what they're doing. Like, honestly, I don't know their practice. I don't know any major Sufis. I haven't read any modern literature from Sufis. I don't follow any modern Sufis, so I don't really connect with them at all. I don't know what they've become or what they stand for. Like, I really don't know much about it. So for me, Sufism, the way I define it is the way Ghazali defined it, and that's about direct experience. Okay, so it's a later term. It's not an original Muslim term, but it just comes to mean a particular group. Okay, now this particular group, it's quite complicated. I've talked about it many times in the past, so I'm not going to go into detail today. But it's about having direct experience. So you have senses, you have sensory experiences. You know, your sight, your sense of smell, your sense of touch, your sense of hearing, etc. Then you have your intellect, and then there's another sense. There's another sense where you have a direct experience. Okay, there's a point of awareness in every human being, and then when you sift everything out and you're stuck with that one point, you can have an experience that's called mysticism. You have a direct experience with truth. Okay, that's what it is. Difficult to point out, something you have to experience for yourself, but it's definitely, in my opinion, the only way to have true foundationalism. Foundationalism is a term where you're certain of something in philosophy. We're certain of this. You can never take this. You can never question this one thing. So that's what it is. That's what it's all about. It's all about having a true foundationalism. Coach, your favorite MMA memory as a fan? Oh man, too many. Just too many. CSS voted. I already did that answer question. I did it earlier. Okay, guys, give me something fun to finish on. Coach, will you run for politics later in life? Mayor of Montreal, perhaps? That's from Charles Biddle. I know you're probably saying that as a joke. You never know. You never know, man. Maybe I retire from grappling, squeezing heads, and just go and start squeezing heads in office. Missed my 2 super chats. Hold on a second. Oh my God, look at these questions. Fun question. When you meet God, what would you ask for yourself only? Question mark. Like I would ask to see the entire of history play out in a video or something. What would you ask? A gift just for you. Wow. You know what I would ask? I would ask for something similar to what you said. Like I would ask for all the history books ever. I want to be able to touch the book and know everything that's inside it. Like if I had read it 100 times. And if it's about history, I want to be able to go into that page in history. I want to visit all of history. I want to see all of history. I want to go to the edge of the universe. I want to see all of creation, how it was from the beginning to the end. In a blink of an eye, I want to be able to go one place to the other. I want to discover mystery after mystery. My mind is like starving to know. I want to know all those little secrets, all the little details. I want to have the greatest understanding of what the world is. I want to have the most incredible understanding. That would be my wish. When are you going to go on the Chris Williamson podcast? I don't know who Chris Williamson is. I'm sure we'll maybe do it. For us, have you watched Rogan's comedy special? Question mark. Maybe many years ago. Many years ago. I watched one of his. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, guys, let's finish it on a fun one. Slam Coach, have you seen the Thinking Muslim podcast with Harris Irfan about the riba/fiat currency being a cancer and how Bitcoin/crypto can fix the problem? That's from Talal Ghazi. I haven't seen it, but I'm total agreement. I think Bitcoin is a great solution to our banking problems. Adam Rogers, I can't do it now because it's late, but remind me next time. I'll do my best to steelman the Zionist position, because now it's going to be late now. It's going to take time to go to that topic for now. This is not me avoiding it, guys. I'm more than happy to do it. Let's do it next podcast. Remind me, guys. Please ask me that question again, and I will do my very, very best. It's just I want to end it on a fun one, something light. Are you going to watch the Craig Jones event, Coach, or not? That interested? Or not that interested in? No, I'm very interested in the Craig Jones event. Ambient Shredder, there's going to be Abu Dhabi and the Craig Jones event. I want to watch both. I support both. I can't wait to see who's going to win the $1 million. That's super exciting. I can't wait to see who's going to win Abu Dhabi. That's also really cool. I'm glad to see. I heard that a lot of the ADCC guys are getting paid getting paid. They're not necessarily winning money if they win or not. They do, but they're also getting paid up front just to show up and compete. That's good. More fighters are getting paid. So it turns out that CGI is making moves that are getting fighters paid a lot more, and that's a good thing. I've trained since I was we did this one. Thoughts on the book of Five Rings by Miyamoto Musashi? Yes, I love it. It's a fantastic book, guys. Really, really great book. Are you coming to Abu Dhabi in October? I don't think so. I'm not scheduled for Abu Dhabi. Okay, guys, somebody give me a fun question to end on. Let's end on something funny. Do you think McGregor fights again, or is he just stringing Michael Chandler along with no intentions to return? That's from Ambient Shredder. I have no idea. He hasn't fought in a long time, right? His last fight was Dustin Poirier. Guys, I have no idea. He looks massive, so I really hope Chandler gets that fight. It would be a good payday for him, I assume. But if I was him, I think it's time to move on. It's been a very long time. Coach, who wins in a fight, Floyd Mayweather or Ronda Rousey? That's from Musa. If it's a boxing match, obviously Floyd. If it's an MMA match, Ronda would shoot in his legs from afar, grab onto his little toe, very likely bring him down, okay? Because he's a dangerous guy. He's going to be hard to grab onto, but if she grabs onto him, believe me. But he could also easily knock her out before she could ever grab him, so. I don't know, man. MMA, it could go either way, but boxing, obviously, he would just destroy her. Coach, do you drink Arabic coffee? Yes, I do. Hassan, I do. Coach, fries with or without salt. What kind of animal eats fries without salt? What kind of savage, brutal animal would eat French fries without salt? Potatoes has no flavor without salt. Coach, can you beat Bradley Martin in a street fight? I don't know who Bradley Martin is, but I'm pretty sure I could. Thank you, Musa. I eat without salt. LOL. What kind of animal are you? I need you to go see a psychologist stat immediately. Okay, guys, thank you for tuning in. As always, don't forget, use Level Up 50 off. It's on the bottom of your screen. It's in the description. Go to jujiclub.com. Buy any video. 50% off. Guys, I have a really good book on intermittent fasting for fitness, okay? For your training combat sports and you want to do intermittent fasting, check out that book. I have a really good book on a man's guide to throwing a punch. Develop a boxing routine. If you develop a boxing routine, you will get in incredible shape. It's better than running. It's better than aerodyning. It's better than lifting weights. Do a bag routine. Do some calisthenics. Use a kettlebell. You'll get in incredible shape. It's all in the PDF. There's a PDF included in your A Man's Guide to Throwing a Punch. It's one of my top best sellers. And also, guys, don't forget, strong and stable knees, strong and stable back. Make sure to get those videos. They're the best videos for keeping your body healthy. And of course, you have a plethora of jiu-jitsu and striking videos. Guys, thank you for tuning in. And I will see you all in the next episode.